factory-trained technicians who know your vehicle inside and out. At Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, we look after you and your car. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
Let's explore these feelings.
Oh, this new girl at work, she's up to something. Always on time, full of great ideas.
If you're not used to great employees, you need Indeed. Get a $200 credit from Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/200. Indeed. Get what you need. T's and C's apply.
Go Harvey Norman LG Trade and Save. On now. Shop our huge range of LG fridges, washing machines and dishwashers. Plus, trade in and save up to $300. Immerse yourself in the action with a new LG TV. Select from screen sizes up to 83 inches. Plus, trade in and save up to $300. That's right, trade in and save up to $300 on selected LG home appliances and entertainment. Best brands, best range, best prices. There's more in store at Harvey Norman. LG Trade and Save on now. Conditions apply.
Live from Hindmarsh Square, it's 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodies.
6:07, good morning to you and welcome to Thursday on 5AA Breakfast, the 5th of Feb. The headline is this though, we've had some rain or a shower or a patter. Anyway, water fell from the sky briefly this morning. The question is going to be, is it enough to have filled the gauge on West Terrace in any way that says we have had rain officially for the first time in 2026? Certainly, first time I've had it on the windscreen driving in. This morning on the program, we'll try and work that out with the Bureau. Also coming up, are you across this extraordinary case of the Australian TV host in the United States, Savannah Guthrie, whose mother was kidnapped, and there appears to be some sort of a ransom demand. It'd be the equivalent in Australia of Koshy hosting Sunrise, and one of his parents gets taken by who knows who and disappears off the street. We're going to talk about that story with Rob Scott from 7 News very, very shortly. Also coming up, the beer excise. We've talked about this. I don't know how many years are we doing the show? 11 years. Beer excise has gone up every single one of those. It goes up with CPI. Well, perhaps no more. We'll talk about that after 6:30 today. Also coming up, tragic story of a loss of a home in the Deep Creek bushfire. Matt Abraham's going to come on the program. We're going to talk the great Henry Young documentary. And should people over on the Peninsula get compensation because their power is so reliably unreliable? All issues were broached this morning on 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. Now, I was sound asleep and I heard this and I woke up and went, that's funny, the air conditioner must have overheated. There's this sort of windy whooshing sound, or maybe one of the women in the house has left the hairdryer on. What is that? I went, hang on, that's rain. None of that's made up.
Yeah.
I thought there's something weird happening.
I had the same reaction. I went, is someone's sprinkler on next door?
Yeah.
Or is a pipe broken?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wandered to the edge of being outside to go, hang on, oh no, it's that old-fashioned rain thing. Remarkable. And apparently it's what I was thinking as I was driving in, is this just going to be a localised, western suburbs thing? No. Rob's texted in saying there was a 2-minute burst of rain in Nord. Luke, bit of rain in Queenstown. I mean, that's sort of northwestish, but...
so you got it in your neck of the woods?
We certainly got it in our neck of the woods.
We got it in Wayville.
So it'd probably be over this. If it made it to Nord, it stretched over the city. I wonder how far east it went. Did anyone in the hills get any rain this morning?
Well, has anyone got enough to register in the gauge?
Yes.
Listen to Sam and Ned on the way in. It doesn't sound like it. I don't think there's any more rain around now, is there? There's none expected later.
No, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing on the forecast.
So
I didn't think this little bit was on the forecast. We might still be. Are you cheering on the record now?
Well, what is it, Feb 19? Is that what we need to get to? Is that what Ben said the other day?
Just having a look at the 7-day forecast, and I lie. Tuesday and Wednesday, there's rain forecast.
Oh, really?
Nothing significant. 0 to 1 mils Tuesday, 0 to 2 on Wednesday. And again, 0 millimetres is... So this is the way I'll use the Bureau's convoluted verbiage. 25% chance of at least 2 millimetres of rain on Wednesday.
So you're seeing there's a chance.
So there's a 75% chance we won't get 2 millimetres of rain. So work that out. How far east did the rain get, folks? North, south? Have you had any in the last hour? And well, let's be honest, before any pedant texts in.
Pedants.
Yes, it wasn't a rain event. maybe doesn't even qualify as a shower, but water did descend from the sky, and that hasn't happened very much for quite some time. Let's go to Kadina. Kim, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. How are you?
Good, thank you, Kim.
Hey, I'm in a truck. I'm just leaving Kadina, heading towards Adelaide or Port Wakefield, and out over to my right, there's this one big road cloud, and you can see the rain just streaming out of it.
Really?
Yeah, that's real. Up over, probably about Clinton Centre or somewhere around
right.
there.
We've found the culprit. Good on you, Kim.
Well spotted,
the one and only cloud.
Magnificent work. Thank you, Kim. Let's go to Modbury Heights. Debbie, good morning.
Yeah, hi. It's only just started the rain here, and it sounds like it's quite steady.
Oh, that's good, Debbie. So, how many minutes has it been going for? How many minutes has it been going for, though, Debbie?
Probably about 5. But
Okay.
it's slowly starting to ease off a little bit, but it's still going, though.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 minutes of rain in Adelaide at the moment feels like a news story, doesn't it? Imagine, but there'd be parts of the world you'd tune into this and they'd go, "What?" Michael and Rostrevor, good morning.
The dogs and I are walking the dusty tracks of Morialta trails.
Are you getting wet, Michael?
No, I said dusty trails.
Dusty.
So no moisture.
We're kicking up dust. So, and by the way, when I turned on the radio this morning, or the radio, the app, and I heard rain, I thought, am I going back in time? Like a couple of years ago, we had the same conversation again, and we were talking about no rain at the West Terrace rain gauge. And I thought, hang on, is this a playback of the old story? And I thought, nah, rain? There's no rain. What are you talking about? Come on.
Well,
no, it's all very dry in Rostrevor, Morialta.
Okay, so it hasn't quite made it that far, Michael. Thank you. So we've got a sort of appreciable sense. It sounds like maybe it's extending further north and south than it is east-west at the moment.
I just checked back on the text that Ben Jordan sent the other day. We've got to make it to February 18 to beat the record, which is from 1906. That was the lowest combined December-January rainfall. 1906.
Well, as a point of definition and clarification that's important here for the record purpose, Ben Jordan's texted in on 0448 08 1395, and he says no rain in the West Terrace gauge at 6 a.m.
Well, that's the official ruling.
That's all that counts.
Yeah, exactly.
It is remarkable that we can have a system sophisticated in 2026. When we have AI bots planning to do the jobs of most normal, intelligent people. Yet, you and I can walk outside of our homes, feel water on our brain and our face from a cloud, yet our official instrumentation says, no, you experienced no rain that day.
Well, it's a bit like occasionally the ball hits the stumps in cricket, but the bails don't fall off.
Yeah, this feels less occasional than that. Sorry, that feels less occasional than this.
Yeah. But it's got to be there to be measured. I mean, it's like a gram of...
Yeah, but you and I both knew it happened, and then a week from now we'll be going, still no rain.
Maybe you just think it did. It's like some Broken Mirror episode, isn't it?
Yeah, some sort of David Lynch kind of film.
What about yesterday? During the show, I got a text from Kate saying, I think I've just been electrocuted in the shower.
What?
And I was busy at work. Okay, well, that's no good. Are you all right? Obviously, that's shocking news. Sorry.
You'd take the man out of newspapers.
Yeah, but that's right. We paid the big bucks. It's sort of a pun work. Anyway, Kate, I was doing some writing yesterday, and she rang me up and she goes, I've just been reflecting on that. That is probably kind of significant, isn't it? That I got a zap in the shower. And she did a Google search on it, and straight away, SA Power Networks, if you get zapped ever, holding handles in the shower or anything like that at home, ring this number. And I was in the middle of writing something, and I thought, well, no, actually, there shouldn't be any sort of distinction between were you slightly electrocuted or significantly electrocuted.
There's only a little bit of an electrocution.
Like if there's power running through your house somehow, then clearly there's something wrong. SA Power Networks, the guy who came around, a bloke called Justin, this guy was like the Winston Wolfe of electrics.
You feel better now?
Oh, mate, he was there for about 3 hours. But interestingly, when I rang the number, and the woman on the phone said, life-threatening emergency hotline.
Oh.
And I went, I said, hey, sorry, I hope I'm not one of those people who's going to clog up the line, because the only reason I'm ringing is that this morning my wife got an electric shock in the shower while she was having a shower. And the woman goes, "Oh, no, sir, absolutely. This is the number you should be ringing." They took it so seriously. But this Justin bloke, we really hit it off. We worked out, we had a common interest in music and been to the same gigs over the years and everything else. They sent a truck out because they thought that it was in the actual Stobie pole. And I don't know what the bits and pieces are called, but a lot of this stuff's really old gear. In the end, this guy, after hours, he worked out that there's like electricity comes into your house and then it goes out again. Don't ask me to explain it. It was the guy. It was like talking to Albert Einstein or maybe Thomas Edison. He invented electricity, didn't he? Edison invented the light bulb. Anyway, he was giving me this real high-end explanation.
He was the AC/DC guy, I think, not the music, the alternate current, direct current guy.
For those about to rock, we salute you. But there's this old bit of copper wire, really old, that had just gone green. It was frayed. It was rusted as well. That was part of the wiring that took the electricity away from the house. That was hidden under this cover that it just totally cooked. And he came out and he went, "Da-da!"
Wow.
But they're dead set. They took it so seriously. They had a crew there with a cherry picker to get up there into the wiring on the Stobie pole. And I just thought, I know that for York Peninsula people, you might be listening going, "Well, lucky you, mate," because we've been putting up with endless power outages here. But I just thought in such a situation that they took so seriously, because they say, no, well, these things can potentially be quite dangerous.
How frightening. So the origin was not in your home. The origin of the issue was out in the street.
Yeah, yeah.
And it led to you being electrocuted Kate being electrocuted in the shower.
Well, no, I actually think it ended up being our wiring on the house, but connecting it back to the street.
Okay, right.
But it's the kind of thing that an electrician wouldn't find that.
No, somebody who knows the infrastructure needs to find it. I wonder if any of our listeners have had anything similar to that.
Oh, apparently it's really quite common.
Anyone been electrocuted?
I reckon a lot of our listeners would have had little zaps.
8223 is the number. No.
I got electrocuted in Mexico thanks to some remarkably bad workmanship in a cheap hotel. I turned on the shower, and as it was in Puerto Escondido in this DOS house. It would have cost $10 a night, but there was a light bulb socket in the shower alcove.
I'm no electrician, but that would seem to be problematic.
Funny place to put a light bulb. So anyway, I got in the shower, turned it on, and I was looking at this thing, and some water ran onto it, and I just went like this. So I got out of the shower straight away, and anyway, I dried off, and I went downstairs, and I spoke to the people at the counter. I said, I just got electrocuted in the shower. And they just looked at me and they said, "Oh, yeah, we meant to say you've got to turn off there's a switch on the wall where the light bulb goes. You've got to turn the switch off on the wall." And I said, "Why is there a light bulb socket in the shower alcove?"
We forgot to tell you. The bags will be brought up. You'll pay for everything in the minibar. This is how the key operates. And by the way, please flick the "I don't want to be electrocuted in the shower" switch before you get in.
You get what you pay for.
9 after 6.
School's back. At Coles, we'll help you get back to routine with free click and collect. Simply spend $50 or more and we'll do the shopping for you. Shop online or in the app at Coles. Excludes rapid click and collect, direct to boot, available in select stores.
Mark Boris is the mentor who keeps choosing stories over spreadsheets and keeps feeding those big ideas. So keep good company with the Mentor podcast.
Well, isn't this ideal? Prime position on the deck, blue skies, smooth seas. How good are cruises?
Make your cruise booking a breeze, and you could win a $5,000 REA travel voucher for your next holiday. Search REA Cruise today.
Whoa, watch the wings.
T's and C's, exclusions and eligibility criteria apply. Promoter is REA. To enter, book and pay a deposit on a new ocean or river cruise with REA Travel by 28 February 2026. Full T's and C's available from travel.rea.com.au.
That's right, Mannix is the one-stop air conditioning shop. We can design, supply and install the right air conditioning system to meet your needs. Plus, we have Adelaide's biggest range of cash and carry units and spare parts at our warehouse sales outlets at unbeatable prices. Public and the trade are welcome at any of our 5 big locations. After 60 years, people trust Mannix. Get a free quote in-store or online.
Need to rent a car, truck, van or ute? Maybe you're moving, maybe you're off on holidays or planning some work around the house. Whatever the reason, you can rely on Red Spot Car Rentals to get you there.
Red Spot has the perfect ride, whatever you want to do. They have a huge fleet of new vehicles from small cars to trucks and utes. You'll find them in airport terminals and cities all over Australia. And right now, they're giving you a spot-on special of 15% off every vehicle at every location. T's and C's apply.
So the next time you need a rental, you can rely on Red Spot. Book direct and save 15% now at redspot.com.au/radio or call 1300 66 88 10 and quote radio.
Harris Scarf Friends summer sale is on now. Save 50% off full-priced quilts and pillows, plus 40% off full-priced air fryers by Healthy Choice. Don't miss out. Conditions apply. Harris Scarf. Great brands, great prices.
If you sounded like this over allergy season, CMAX needs your help. CMAX Clinical Research is trialling a potential allergy treatment and needs volunteers to participate in a clinical trial. If you're aged 18 to 55 and experience seasonal allergies but are otherwise healthy, you might be eligible. Spend 5 nights at CMAX, attend 11 follow-up visits and get paid for your time. Turn your allergy season into a medical breakthrough. Apply today at cmax.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
22 minutes after 6, got some terrific news about the future of Bedford Industries yesterday with the completion of the deal that will see the jobs there secured into the future. As the Premier said at his press conference, it's the end of this period of uncertainty now, which is wonderful news for our friends that work there and listeners like David in Aberfoyle Park. David, good morning to you.
Good morning, David. How are you this morning, guys?
Yeah, good, thanks, David. This is happy news, mate. You must all be so relieved.
Oh, it was. Yesterday morning, guys, it was fantastic just to see the new owners came, and it was just fantastic for us. Our jobs being saved. It was really fantastic for all of us.
Yeah. Have there been a few people, though, who have lost their jobs over the last year with some of the changes that have been made?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. We had a few of those meetings at the moment, but I'm not really too sure at the moment, Dave.
Yeah.
But I'm really not too sure at the moment, so...
But that new owner, he sounds like a good guy, and he sounds like he's committed to Bedford for the long haul, doesn't he?
Oh, that's correct. Yeah, because we all had, I think we all had to get together yesterday morning. I think it was up to 11 o'clock, and all the media was there. It was just really good news for our jobs being saved. But it's going to have the new owners now take it over for us now.
Yeah, right. Well, that's good news, David. What sort of work are you doing? What sort of work are you doing at Bedford at the moment, mate?
Well, we're doing the parts at the moment. We're doing the doggy treats at the moment, the pigs at the moment. So we've been very busy at the moment getting everything done.
Oh, for all the pet shops, yeah.
So it's been very busy for us now. But things starting to really pick up a bit now.
Yeah.
Because it's been extremely busy for us at the moment.
Oh, that's excellent news, Dave. We're really happy for you, mate, and for all of your friends there at Bedford. Good on you.
Thanks, guys. You have a good morning.
You too. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, that's a terrific story. A really concerning and frightening story out of the United States affects a TV host by the name of Savannah Guthrie, who was born in Melbourne, here in Australia, incidentally, and now works as a sort of on NBC doing a Sunrise-style role. She was going to be heavily involved in the Winter Olympics coverage as well. That's all been put on hold because it appears her mother was kidnapped. Rob Scott from the 7 News US Bureau joins us. Rob, what do we know about the disappearance of Savannah's mother now?
Yeah, look, a very intriguing and concerning story, this. So Nancy Guthrie, 84 years old. She lives in Tucson, Arizona. Last time she was seen alive was on Saturday when her son-in-law dropped her off at her home in Tucson. She didn't turn up to church the next day on Sunday, and that's very out of character for her, so family reported her missing. Since then, they have found what they say is signs of forced entry at her home, even some blood at the house, and police are saying now that they believe she was taken against her will and her life could be in jeopardy. They are chasing down a number of leads, but when the sheriff spoke at a media conference recently, he really painted the picture that they have no idea where she is, who took her, or why. And in the last few days, several media outlets here in the US, including TV stations and TMZ, that celebrity website, have received what they say are unverified ransom notes, reportedly from the kidnappers, demanding millions of dollars in Bitcoin for the safe return of the grandmother. Look, police are looking into those. As I say, they're unverified, but they say that they have no suspects at this stage, although there is some reporting around today here in the US that son-in-law who dropped her off at her home is potentially a suspect, although police are also trying to play that down a bit. So they don't really know where she is, who took her, or why. But as you say, she is the mother of Savannah Guthrie. Born in Melbourne, as you mentioned, she is one of the most famous faces on breakfast TV here in the United States. She co-hosts, as you say, a sunrise-style breakfast TV program. So that's really adding to the intrigue of all of this. And perhaps, one of the angles that the police are looking into is maybe there was some threat to her that led to her mother being captured, although they haven't revealed that at this stage. So, the sheriff, he looked pretty overwhelmed when he faced the media yesterday. He's never had to deal with anything like this in his career. And they really have no clue as to why this has happened.
I presume, Rob, obviously, that Savannah is not appearing on TV at the moment. Has she made any public statements about it at all, though?
No, you're right. She's off air. And as you mentioned in the introduction, she was supposed to be heavily involved in NBC's coverage of the Winter Olympics. She's since pulled out of that. No public statements other than a post on Instagram really calling for prayer for her mum. She and her mother are very religious, and she's just asking for everyone to support her through prayer. So other than that, we haven't heard from her and we haven't seen her. But she's pulled out of the Winter Olympics to be here as police scramble to try and find her mum, who apparently, according to them, is pretty unwell. Not only is she elderly at 84, but she has to take daily medication, which she needs to survive.
Yeah.
And it's been 4 days now that she hasn't had that medication, so the clock is really ticking on this one.
Just a horrible story. Thank you, Rob. Rob Scott there for Channel 7 in San Francisco.
16.6 degrees outside of the city at the moment, heading for a top of 32. We've had reports of a smattering of rain around the suburbs, albeit none in the West Terrace rain gauge, so it doesn't officially count. Tomorrow, 33, the expected top. Saturday, 35. That'll be the hottest of the days ahead. Sunday, 33. 31 Monday to start next week. 34 Tuesday. Possible shower, says the forecast. 29 on Wednesday of next week.
Getting a lot of blunt feedback from blokes who, unlike me, don't have soft hands and know how things work. Rob says, I think electricity always existed. Dave, Thomas Edison just discovered how to harness it, not to be nitpicky. And also, Brian in Lockley says, Dave, just for correctness, to be electrocuted means to be killed by electricity, had an electric shock. So it's like drowned. Like
yes.
If you drown, you are...
Yeah, you know more.
No
you can't.
more.
Oh, I drowned a little bit today.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a fair clarification.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
I made that mistake as well. Tom Wren's in the 5AA Breakfast Studio. Buddy, you ready?
Morning, boys. Winter Olympics are about to start, fellas, and we had... Look, I know a lot of people are going, I'm not sure I care or not, but I've done a bit of a preview, and our flag bearers were announced overnight. So, Jakara Anthony, Matt Graham, it starts in a few days' time, Feb 8. And just looking at some of the events and how the Aussies will go, so just a bit of a brief snapshot for you. We've won 19 medals in the past. We were the first nation in the Southern Hemisphere to win a gold medal. That was in 2002. Remember Stephen Bradbury?
Who could forget?
Oh, yeah.
And then Alyssa Camplin. So they were two. And then the next Southern Hemisphere country to win one.
The whole Southern Hemisphere did a Bradby back in 2002. I didn't realise.
And no one won a gold medal from the Southern Hemisphere until 2022 other than us. So we've slowly...
There is a lot of snow in the Southern Hemisphere.
Well, that's right.
Heaps.
And we've gotten better. So 1994 was when we won our first medal. That was a teams event, a relay, 5,000-metre skating. Then 1998, another individual medal for the first time, Zali Stegel, who's still in politics, I think.
Yep.
And then we won 2 medals in 2002, 2 in 2006, 3 in 2010, 3 in 2014, 3 in 2018, 4 in 2022. So how many medals will we get this time around? Well, I reckon there's genuinely 8 to 10 medal chances in events like the monobob. Have you heard of that? That's
the monobob.
So that
sounds like a dance routine from the 80s.
Well, it does, doesn't it? It's like we've all seen Cool Runnings, the 4-man bobsled. This is a one-person bobsled.
So that sounds like it'd be fun to watch.
That'd be
The monobob.
There's some really dangerous, cool sports, I reckon, in the Winter Olympics. Bree Walker's in that. We've got a freestyle skier in the half pipe. She's our youngest, 16, Indra Brown. Keep an eye on her. The two flag bearers, Jakara Anthony, Matt Graham, they could win as well. So I'm putting the over-unders, Will. You were just asking me before.
Yeah.
4.5. I think we'll win, and I'm going overs. I think we'll win 5 medals.
Rennie.
Are we in the curling? Are we in the curling?
I don't know. Well, I'm sure we've got a curling team. The events I'm looking forward to, my favourite event is the ski jumping. You know, where they go down the massive ramp and they go, I think it's about 80 metres they go. Can you imagine, hey, Mum, Dad, I want to do the ski jumping.
It's time for me to the other side of Homo Square.
Totally. It's mad.
Based on all the information you just gave us about the history in the Southern Hemisphere, Rennie, I'm smashing the under. Thank you.
I reckon if you did go down that sled thing, you'd want to have had a couple first.
At 15.
It's like when you jump off the roof of a houseboat. You don't want to do it. So.
Yeah. When you're getting in the bobsled or whatever.
Just joking, folks.
Yeah. At least they'll be clothed.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Sunny and 32 today with the 6:30 news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Hands you can trust and state-of-the-art facilities. Physio Extra, tailoring care for you. PhysioExtra.com.
Bill Gates has apologised to victims of Jeffrey Epstein for the time he spent with the convicted sex offender. Mr Gates has faced increasing scrutiny over their relationship following the latest release of documents from the US Justice Department. He's told 9 News he apologises for ever being associated with Epstein, but denies allegations of sexual misconduct.
It's factually true that I was only at dinners. I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behaviour.
The man convicted of trying to assassinate the US president on his Florida golf course has been sentenced to life in prison. Secret Service agents saw Ryan Ruth in the bushes near where Donald Trump was playing in 2024. He was found guilty of all charges in September last year. The Trump administration will withdraw 700 immigration agents from Minnesota. The partial withdrawal will leave 2,000 ICE and other federal agents in the state. Distillers are welcoming the clearing of the excise tariff amendment bill in federal parliament. A freeze will now run for 2 years, helping keep a lid on increasing beer prices. Australian Hotels Chief Executive Stephen Ferguson says he was pleased by the level of positive discussion from all parties.
I think there was great support from the floor of the parliament. There was a lot of conversation and debate around also extending it to include spirits. That would only be spirits poured into a glass, and also providing further relief to the smaller independent brewers as well.
The New South Wales coroner will release her findings this morning into the mass stabbing attack at Westfield Bondi. Jamelle Wells reports.
Coroner Teresa O'Sullivan presided over a 5-week inquest into the attack that occurred in April 2024. She heard Joel Couchy had psychotic symptoms and was armed with a knife when he killed 6 people and injured 10 others, including a baby. The inquest heard he was later fatally shot by Inspector Amy Scott after he ran at her with the knife. The coroner had intended to hand down her findings before the end of 2025, but delayed them after the Bondi Beach terrorist attack in December.
The King has opened up about his health for World Cancer Day. He's spoken about the expertise and kindness at every stage of his treatment.
Throughout my own cancer journey, I've been profoundly moved by what I can only call the community of care that surrounds every cancer patient. The specialists, the nurses, researchers and volunteers who work tirelessly to save and improve lives.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new Gliderol garage door before the end of Feb and the operator is free. T's and C's apply.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. We're going to start with a little bit of Winter Olympics. Mogul skiers Jakara Anthony and Matt Graham have been selected as Australia's flag bearers. That's for the opening ceremony at the Games. 2022 gold medalist Anthony will enter her 3rd Games ranked world number 1. Graham is looking to go one better after winning silver at the 2018 Games. Let's go to football. Adelaide's Max Michelini says he's hoping to play a little bit of time in the midfield and up forward this season as he looks to continue his strong development. The 21-year-old has impressed in his short career thus far, and he's told Rowie and Timmy G he'll spend the majority of his time down back again.
At the start of this season and the pre-season, I've been training as a defender, so that's probably where you can expect to see me this year. But hopefully if the opportunity arises, maybe I'll get a little bit of a run in the midfielder up forward.
To golf and the first live event of the year is underway and the opening round has just been completed in Saudi Arabia. Thomas Dietrich and Peter Ullheim share the lead at 7 under, while Aussie Elvis Smiley, who's playing in his first event since joining the tour, is outright third and is only one shot back at 6 under. Live events will now be 4 rounds instead of 3, and the second event of the year will be next week, right here in Adelaide. And in some soccer to finish, Manchester City and Newcastle are about to begin their League Cup semi-final. It's the second leg, City winning the first leg 2-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Make your next cruise a breeze with RAA Travel. Search RAA Cruise and book your next trip today.
32 today and mostly sunny, up to 33 tomorrow, cloud clearing and 35 on Saturday, Sunday partly cloudy, 33. Right now it's 17 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
It all started in the back shed. Maybe it started early or late. Either way, the Olympic Industries sale means there's no need to wait. With big savings on our entire range of SA-engineered sheds, garages, carports and verandas, you can afford to start something big, tough or tasty in your own backyard. Start something with the Olympic Industries sale. On now.
There are many reasons why Steinborner Automotive is well worth a trip, with over 400 cars in stock across 10 yards in Gawler, Barossa and Clare, including Steinborner Hyundai in Uriutpa, with a great selection of the best value new demo and low kilometre Tucson, Santa Fe, i30 and Kona. Along with outstanding service from our award-winning staff, you know it's well worth a trip to Steinborner Hyundai. View our whole range of Hyundai at steinborner.com.au.
Go Harvey Norman LG Trade and Save on now. Shop our huge range of LG fridges, washing machines and dishwashers, plus trade in and save up to $300. Immerse yourself in the action with a new LG TV. Select from screen sizes up to 83 inches. Plus trade in and save up to $300. That's right, trade in and save up to $300 on selected LG home appliances and entertainment. Best brands, best range, best prices. There's more in store at Harvey Norman. LG Trade and Save on now. Conditions apply.
Experience luxury at sea with Silver Sea and Phil Hoffman Travel with savings of up to 40%. Sail iconic ports, ancient cities and dazzling coastlines in all-inclusive comfort. Enjoy world-class dining, personalised service and immersive shore experiences. Sign up to the Platinum Cruise Club to receive $300 on-board spend per suite. Offer ends the 28th of February. Phil Hoffman Travel. Visit pht.com.au.
5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
"22 minutes to 7. It might be the end to one of the longest running campaigns on 5AA Breakfast, the twice yearly indexation of the beer excise. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But first, Chris in Surrey Downs is on the line. Chris, you got any rain there in Surrey Downs?
Yeah, I've going out of the kitchen and I hear this pitter-patter. Looked out the back and it was coming down for a while, probably about 10 minutes, but looking out the front again, it's blue sky and cirrus clouds, so I don't know. We should make up its mind, but you definitely tell it's rain because the road out the front's wet, etc. So, yeah.
You don't have a rain gauge, do you, Chris?
No, I doubt very much whether it'd be enough to get in there, but it was enough to that I could hear it from inside, hitting on the pergola and everything. So, yeah.
It's quite a funny experience, isn't it, after so long without any?
Yeah, it cools it down a bit, you open up all the doors and windows and let the breeze blow through. And it's good.
Absolutely. Good stuff, Chris. Thank you for the
Chris.
call.
All right, Dave in South Brighton, good morning.
Morning, guys. Weather report from South Brighton. It's as dry as you could describe on radio. It's unbelievable. It hasn't been a drop. I've just come out in the driveway. There's not a drop of any dust or anything on the windscreen. Absolutely dry as. The other reason I rang too, guys, you were talking about electrical issues through taps and things like that. It's really important if you feel tingling through your taps to get it checked out. It's potential leaking earth and it can be fatal. There was a young girl I think it may have been Fort Lincoln or some Fort Perry quite a few years ago now, that actually killed her with an electric shock. So
Yeah.
it's really important to get checked out.
Yeah, well, as I said, Dave, SO Power were straight onto it. They arrived within 2 hours. They said, don't go in there, don't have a shower, don't use the taps. And they did take it extremely seriously. And as I said, Justin, the bloke who came out, couldn't have been any more thorough. He was a gun.
Oh, yeah, they have loose earth connections on the Stobie poles, but, and just comes back through the water pipes. So,
yeah,
take it seriously. It's not a minor issue.
No, exactly. Good call, Dave. Thank you, mate.
The Albanese government is it looks like they will have enough support to pause the indexation of customs duty rates for draft beer for 2 years. The layman's language for this is your beer prices went up twice every year in line with inflation. So whenever we talked about inflation, 3.7%, 2.9, whatever it might well have been, it's all been above 2 to 3% as we know at the moment. That was the price that was being artificially added on to when you went and bought a beer twice every year.
So does the application of excise, which makes the price of beer go up, does that then become something that's factored into the Reserve Bank's thinking about inflation, where they go, oh, hang on, well, there's something else that's gone up. So the government, through its own excise, is actually creating inflationary...
An inflation double. Well, it's a double whammy then, because it's so this is how much everything's going up. So let's whack up beer by that amount artificially twice per year. Well, it's going to be paused for a couple of years, which, frankly, it should just be done away with altogether, I think. Martin Palmer from Palmer Hotel Group joins us. I imagine you agree, Martin.
Absolutely. Morning, guys, and to your listeners. Look, it's if it can find its way through to legislation, I think it would be a fantastic thing for pub drinkers. While we might not see an effect immediately, we certainly will over 2 years. And as you rightly point out, I mean, it's almost like a multiplier effect on inflation, and obviously it's a massive multiplier effect on the price of beer in pubs. People that like to drink in pubs, which is a really important point too. I think that it's a acknowledgement that the cultural role that pubs play, and we need to keep that relevant.
Well, two things are a statistical fact. People have never drunk less since we've recorded it, and people are less sociable than they've ever been. There are huge social arguments in favour of not putting up cost barriers to this kind of behaviour.
Well, look, I mean, the one place that people can definitely drink and do drink responsibly are in licensed venues, and I mean that's a really important point. Let's not forget that about 70% of all alcohol is actually bought takeaway, so it's consumed in backyards and barbecues, which is fantastic, but it's also consumed in homes, and that's where a lot of damage can possibly happen. So, the more that we encourage people to get back and drink responsibly in hotels is a win for all of those things, I think.
It's just getting ridiculous. I mean, I think back to 30 years ago, if you spoke to mates who'd been to Europe, they'd go, oh, crikey, I bought a beer in London, and you wouldn't believe it, it was $7 or something. Remember people used to marvel at how expensive drinks were. Like, I can't think of a country, I don't know, maybe Brunei, where, places that have got Sharia law might make it more expensive deliberately on policy grounds, but I can't think of any other part of the world where beer is more expensive than Australia. Like in Barcelona, I was there a few years back in the July break. A beer was like €3 in like really good hotels. It's like $6.
What's the average price of a pint over the bar at the moment, do you reckon, Martin?
Between $10 and $12, broadly, depending on where you go. But I mean, I've got sons who are in their 20s, and I mean, I see it firsthand that the front of mind is it's too expensive. Sometimes it's too expensive to go to the pub. They can't do it all the time, but they want to be social and they want to go out, so they tend to what's generally known as preload, which is not fantastic sometimes.
Yeah, well,
and then might go out for a while, but which is and it also it drives them away to. I'm not saying it's necessarily my sons, of course, but generally it can drive them away from from sort of less impactful alcohol too. That, beer's 5%, 4.5%, 5%, things that are 12%, 13%. That's not healthy either necessarily.
Yeah. No, that's very true. Everything you say, Martin Palmer, the managing director of the Palmer Hotel Group. Thanks for joining us this morning. It is just ridiculous, isn't it? How expensive it's got.
Well, it's a good example of the kind of thing. Maybe it was brought in at a time when alcohol consumption was growing at a rate. There was real public health concerns about it, and so much and so forth. But when these measures are brought in, it's really hard for governments to wean themselves off them when they become a revenue stream. And there is no public health imperative for this anymore. It's just...
Well, I would say, I was talking to a mate about this yesterday. He texted in about it. The fact that Australia still has a luxury car tax tells you all you need to know.
Well, it's a classic example.
The reason we have a luxury car tax is to defend the domestic production of motor vehicles. It's to keep places like Mitsubishi and Holden afloat.
Yeah.
Like, getting rid of a tax is like getting chewing gum out of your hair.
Temporary measures for governments that are revenue streams are like temporary hits for drug addicts. It's like, no, just this one.
Yeah.
Just this one.
I just need one more fix.
Yeah, that's right. Just one more bump of luxury car tax.
These treasurers, they're the equivalent of the people lying in some Hindley Street alleyway scratching their arms.
Yeah. There's a cartoon there. Let's head to the Weather Bureau and talk about this weather. Chris Kent is on duty. Now, Chris, from your perspective, there's been no rain, has there?
If you look at the observations, we've seen very little. But if you look out the window, the roads are a little bit wet. So, yeah, we've had a few little light showers move through this morning. We have recorded 0.2 of a millimetre at Black Hill. Pretty brief. The nice sunrise this morning with the rain curtains as the showers go over the hills. A little unexpected, but it looks like it's mostly done and dusted now.
So, where did you say Black Hill, Chris?
Yes, 0.2 of a millimetre, so just enough to register.
But nothing at all in the city?
No, not that we've recorded in our observations. So, very light, and we're reasonably localised as well. So, 0.2 of a millimetre is more than you think, really, especially when we haven't had much rain for quite a long time.
Yeah. And still dry for the next week ahead, until middle of next week?
Yeah, still looking at pretty dry conditions across Adelaide, maximum of 32 degrees today. Those temperatures increasing a little bit as we head into the weekend, reaching 35 by Saturday. Then sort of pretty much sitting sort of around that 30-degree mark for, much of early next week. So not a lot of change in the weather for Adelaide. Possibly some fresh winds about the hills tonight, probably most likely the southern suburbs. Potentially a little bit of some gully winds developing, but nothing like we saw last week with that big event that brought down a lot of trees. So that's really the only thing that's of really interest with the weather at the moment across Adelaide.
No worries, Chris. Good on you. Thank you. Chris Kent from the Weather Bureau.
All right, let's head to Safe Pulse. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan joins us. Jen, there's been a truck crash at Crafers.
Yes, there has. Good morning. There's going to be delays on the outbound traffic for the up track again this morning.
Our poor Hills listeners.
Yeah, I know. And people it'll affect, obviously, people coming into the city because they'll be looking to see what's happening on the up track. But it all happened just after 3 o'clock this morning. We were called to the freeway at Cleland after a B-double truck, which had actually broken down and stopped on the side of the freeway, was sideswiped by another passing truck. That truck then collided into the cliff face. So the drivers luckily weren't seriously injured, but one of them was taken to hospital. Now, we've got a tow truck on scene, but it will take some time before those trucks can be removed from the freeway. So the up track of the freeway is down to one lane. So we're asking for everybody to please be patient, be nice to each other, turn your radio on.
Absolutely. What a schmozzle. Jen, also 2 people have been arrested in a stolen car down at Christie's Beach.
Yeah, and that was just after 2:30 this morning. Police spotted a Mini Cooper on Commercial Road at Salisbury and attempted to stop the vehicle, but the driver refused. Now, Polair was called in to assist, and the vehicle made its way through the western and southern suburbs And eventually, about 3:15, the vehicle was successfully spiked on South Road at Edwardstown. But it continued onto the expressway, where it will allege that it reached speeds of 170 kilometres an hour.
Right.
And the vehicle eventually came to a stop on Whitton Road at Christie's Beach, where the driver and passenger ran. But they were caught quickly hiding in some nearby gardens. They're an 18-year-old man and a 31-year-old woman. The driver, the man, has been charged with illegal use, dangerous driving, and extreme speed, and he's going to find himself in court today. And the passenger, she's going to find herself in court in March.
Good police work there, Jen. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan from SAPOL.
Just got a text from a mate who lives up in the hills, all caps. Oh, for Pete's sake. He didn't use the word Pete. 9 minutes to 7.
Yeah, totally.
We're going to check traffic and come back with more shortly.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. Crafers West got a 2-truck crash causing monster delays at the moment. She's on the freeway up track near the Mees Days ramp. Got some lanes out of action, so leave early if you must head that way. Another crash with delays at Enfield, Regency Road near Main North Road. Starting to build South Road, Karata Park with a camera, Brooker Terrace, Richmond. Anytime Fitness presents the Day Zero sale on Wednesday, 11th Feb only. Join for $0 plus 4 weeks free. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Considering a cruise holiday? Join us for an informative Princess Cruises film and travel event hosted by local Adelaide-based Spark Travel on Thursday 12th of February at the Mayfair Hotel. Enjoy complimentary morning and afternoon tea. Join us for the morning session 10 till 11am or the afternoon session 1 till 2pm. Take advantage of exclusive discounts available only on the day. To secure your spot, call us now on 88765121. Spark Travel, where your journey begins with a conversation. sparktravel.com.au.
If the kitchen's your studio, Simpson's Pantry wraps and flatbreads are your canvas. Refresh, remix and wrap it up with Simpson's Pantry. You'll be absolutely wrapped.
Simpson's Pantry. Absolutely wrapped.
For more than 160 years, Anglicare SA has been standing alongside South Aussies when life gets tough.
Today, Anglicare SA supports more than 50,000 people across our state. Older Australians needing dignity and care, families facing housing pressure, people struggling with rising living costs, young people at risk, carers, and those navigating grief, disability or major life changes.
From aged care and retirement living to affordable housing and tenancy support, financial counselling, foster care, disability and autism services, and help for new arrivals. It's a bit of a mouthful, all those services. Anglicare SA meets people where they are with compassion, integrity and practical action.
It's all about stability, dignity and long-term support delivered by local staff and volunteers who understand South Australia and our communities. Anglicare SA's purpose is simple. Together, they change lives.
You can rent a little, you can rent a lot.
Whatever you're doing, wherever you're going, you can rely on Red Spot to get you there. We're the all-Aussie, family-owned car rental company in airport terminals and cities across Australia with a new fleet and 100% local Aussie service. And right now, Red Spot is giving you spot-on savings of 15% off every vehicle at every location. Book direct and save at redspot.com.au/radio. T's and C's apply.
Red Spot.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
6 to 7. We'll get the latest on the Deep Creek fire in just a moment. Lots of good texts coming through. Someone here says, guys, back in 1973, I bought 5 schooners for $1. I was underage. Then the price went up to 4 schooners for $1. When it got to 30 cents a schooner, we were going to give up beer. We never did. Ardrossan Top Pub. Lovely work. Thank you for that text. I like this because we like to solve problems on 5AA Breakfast. Paul and McGill, and he's put his name to it, which is brave. He's texted us saying, lads, question without notice. Is this a male versus female thing or is it non-gender specific? I get in trouble for leaving the pegs on the clothesline. I figure the pegs... then they're ready for and handy for the next load of washing rather than looking for the peg basket. Oh. Curious to know, pegs left on or pegs taken off? I think we can solve this, folks. 8223
See, I worry with Paul's strategy there. It really comes down to the type of peg we're talking about. If they're your old-fashioned wooden pegs, maybe. But plastic pegs sitting in the sun, they'll snap. They get brittle in sunlight.
It's part of the fun, isn't it? And you just
fun.
Yeah, but then
one peg. Hello, who's in there? Nobody.
Yeah, that's
what's going on here.
That's the cycle of peg life, though, isn't
clip
it?
anything up with this.
Yeah,
That's
sustaining.
Clip a single sock.
That's why it costs 0.6 of a cent to make a peg.
Yeah, well, you get what you pay for.
Yeah, you absolutely do.
But I think Paul's really, that's peg craziness. What you're suggesting, Paul?
Oh no, I'm on Paul's side. I'm about peg.
I'm with you.
This sounds like the kind of fight we'd have in my household. It's efficiency versus aesthetics. And I always fall on the side of efficiency, Paul, so I'm with you. Leave those pegs on, good man. So as someone's texted in here saying, I leave the pegs on, my missus hates it too. Helen says pegs off. Pegs on or off, folks. 8223 In the meantime, let's go and cross down to some serious business on the FIVEAA at the Deep Creek Fire, which, gee whiz, how CFS have been fighting this for days now. Steve Salomon is the State Duty Commander. Steve, good morning. What's the state of play at 4 to 7 this morning?
Good morning, and thank you for having me on. So we have seen the fire continue to increase overnight. We're at 3,400 hectares at the moment as it's burning through the Deep Creek National Park, certainly in areas that are extremely steep and inaccessible to crews at the moment. We have an advice message, stay informed advice message in place for this fire at the moment for anyone in the area of Deep Creek, Silverton, Blowhole Beach Road and Delamere in the southern FIVEAA Peninsula. And we're asking residents and people in the area to keep as informed as they possibly can while this fire is not posing any immediate threat to life and property. It could at any stage, with strong gully winds and turbulent conditions down there, jump out of the containment lines that we've got in place and could pose a risk to the community throughout the day today.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it, Steve, and you guys are all doing great work down there. Hopefully the weather conditions remain as favourable as possible. Steve Salomon, the CFS State Duty Commander.
Mark in Ongaparinga Hills has got a traffic update for us. Mark, what's happening?
Yeah, how you going, guys? There's a cyclist who's been clipped, unfortunately, on South Road at Tonsley.
Oh, no.
Inbound. Doesn't look good, guys. So I think there's going to be banking up there very shortly. It's only just happened by the look.
Oh, crikey. All right. Thank you for letting us know, Mark, and thank you for letting our listeners know. We'll keep an eye on that one, and any information that comes to hand, we'll bring it to you live here this morning. Andrea in Williamstown, pegs on or pegs off?
Oh, good morning, gentlemen. I'm really sorry. Bad to start the day eye rolling. David, no, it doesn't matter what type of peg it is, they come off. And the reason for that is when you hang the clothes up, you don't have to move them all.
So you leave them out there, Andrea?
Of course I do. They have to come off the line so that when you hang the clothes out again, you're not trying to work around all these pegs that your husband's left up there because he couldn't find the peg basket.
Well, no, I agree with you. I agree with you, Andrea. I'd take them in every time.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I just thought you mentioned it depends what kind of peg. No, it doesn't. It's just take them off, boys.
But you know what I mean
Take
about
them
the
off.
ones that break. There's nothing worse than a broken peg.
Well, that's why you buy good pegs.
Thank you, Andrea. That's excellent. Wendy and Elizabeth, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Hi, guys. How are you?
Good, thank you, Wendy.
Listen, I'm an oldie. Pegs on. I can't be bothered putting them in a bag anymore.
I'm with you.
Really?
Wendy. I'm with you, Wendy. I think that's a victory for efficiency. Sue in South Plympton, good morning.
Hi. I know they get brittle, but I leave them on. Can't be bothered with a peg basket. You haven't got the right, you can't find it, and I leave them on.
Good on you, Sue. I tell you what, I reckon that the poll wondered whether it might be a male v female. It might be a caller v texter because there's lots of pegs off people texting in at the moment.
There are, and it doesn't split clearly on gender lines either. We're getting a lot of women saying, "No, I'm a pegs on kind of gal."
Andy in Henley Beach, good morning.
Morning, chaps. How are you?
Good, thanks, Andy.
Okay, I do my civil duty and keep my wife fit and healthy. Pegs on grass.
Pegs on the grass.
Pegs on the grass. Wow.
That means then she has to bend down and pick them up. The amount of exercise she gets phenomenal.
Like squats worked into your clothes hanging routine. Thank you,
There are
Andy.
so many texts about this. Although Karen texted in saying, "Is this what morning radio's come to? Pegs on the clothesline." Karen, yes, it has.
Karen.
Frankly, would you have rather we spent the last 10 minutes talking about, I don't know, the excellent news that Dr. Randa Abdul Fattah is coming back?
Yeah.
And maybe the council will have its way, according to some of its members, and give them $250,000. Should we talk about that instead?
And also,
I thought the pegs were a happy reprieve from
who was it, Karen?
the culture wars.
This is the People's Program. Paul called in with a dilemma that he needed solving.
Totally.
And what do they call it when you open source it? No, you
crowdsource it.
Crowdsource it. Thank you, Paddy. He crowdsourced a solution from the tens of thousands of people listening.
Karen, don't blame us for the content. Blame yourselves.
Exactly right.
We only work here.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
The latest local, national and international news for South Australia. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Sunny and 32 today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Injured or living with chronic pain? Book an appointment at Physio Extra today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
For the second morning in a row, there are delays on the freeway. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says outbound traffic is impacted after a truck crash.
It all happened just after 3 o'clock this morning. A B-double truck, which had actually broken down and stopped on the side of the freeway, was sideswiped by another passing truck. That truck then collided into the cliff face.
The driver sustained minor injuries. Australia's 6-monthly excise increase on draft beer has been frozen by the federal government. The 2-year pause is expected to slow price hikes at the bar and offer cost of living relief from the paddock to the pub. The Australian Hotels Association's Stephen Ferguson is calling it a win for the whole industry.
Any relief on tax will go a long way to ensuring that we're able to maintain employment in our pubs. There's also a recognition that beer and spirits, we need farmers to grow the hops, barley, and we need brewers and distillers to prepare the finished product.
One of the world's richest men is denying allegations of engaging in illegal conduct with late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The latest documents released by the US Justice Department show Bill Gates met with Epstein several times before and after his arrest. An email Epstein sent to himself in 2013 claims Gates caught a sexually transmitted disease after sleeping with Russian girls and asked for antibiotics he could give to his then wife. Comments the multi-billionaire has told 9 News are false.
That email was never sent. The email is false. So I don't know what his thinking was there. Every minute I spent with him, I regret and I apologize that I did that.
The Trump administration will withdraw 700 immigration agents from Minnesota. The partial withdrawal will leave 2,000 ICE and other federal agents in the state. Trump's border czar and key ally Mike Homan has warned that any further withdrawal of agents is dependent on cooperation of local law enforcement and the wider community.
My goal with the support of President Trump is to achieve a complete drawdown and end this surge as soon as we can. But that is largely contingent upon the end of the illegal and threatening activities against ICE and its federal partners that we're seeing in the community.
The search for the missing mother of US TV host Savannah Guthrie has entered its 4th day, with the FBI now trying to verify whether a widely circulated ransom note is legitimate. US correspondent Rob Scott has told David and Will authorities have received hundreds of leads but still have no idea where the 84-year-old is or who took her.
They say that they have no suspects at this stage, although there is some reporting around today here in the US that son-in-law who dropped her off at her home is potentially a suspect, although police are also trying to play that down a bit.
And something to think about as you make your toast this morning, it's World Nutella Day. Nutella is a spread flavoured with hazelnut and cocoa and dates back to 1964. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new Gliderol garage door before the end of Feb and the operator is free. T's and C's apply.
He's had his Nutella and he's here ready to tell us about sport. Tom Wren.
Oh, I like that, Mel. Wouldn't call me boring, but just butter and Vegemite for me on my toast. That's very boring. Let's go to Winter Olympics first. Mogul skiers Jakara Anthony and Matt Graham have been selected as Australia's flag bearers for the upcoming Games at the ceremony. 2022 gold medalist Anthony will enter her 3rd Games ranked world number 1. She says she's lost for words.
Such a strong team, and to be chosen to lead the team into the opening ceremony just makes it even that bit more special.
Yeah, great stuff. Well, in cricket, South Australia will take on New South Wales in a Sheffield Shield match starting at the SCG this morning. Alex Carey is in the side as the team looks to jump into the top 2 and keep its hopes of another Shield final alive. Meantime, India has moved into the Under-19 World Cup following a 7-wicket win in their one-dayer against Afghanistan. The Indian side successfully chasing a target of 311 with almost 9 overs to spare. To footy, Stephen May was a notable no-show at Melbourne training yesterday after police visited his home last week. It's as the Premiership defender prepares to defend himself from separate charges relating to an incident outside a Sorrento pub in 2024. Manchester City hasn't taken long to take control of its League Cup semi-final against Newcastle. City is now 2-0 up with about 15 minutes to play in the opening half, meaning they now lead 4-0 on aggregate after also winning the first leg 2-0. And the opening round of the Live tournament is complete. The first tournament for the season in Riyadh, and Aussie Elvis Smiley's made a great start. He's only one shot behind the joint leaders Thomas Dietrich and Peter Uhlheim after firing an impressive round of 6 under. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there at Crayford's West. A 2-truck crash causing monster delays. The freeway up track to the Measdays ramp. Got some lanes blocked there. Enfield a crash. Regency Road near Main North Road and just in at Tonsley. Cyclist v car. South Road at Tonsley near the Southern Expressway. Quite big delays inbound through there. Camera, Frederick Road Grange. Every minute of every day, a child is admitted to hospital. Help make it a happier place with a $30 donation to the Starlight Foundation every month. Donate today at starlight.org.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA weather.
Plan your next cruise with an RAA travel agent. Search RAA Cruise and book your next trip today.
A mostly sunny Thursday on the way with a top of 32. Tomorrow sunny 33. 35 on Saturday and 33 again on Sunday. Right now it's 17 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
The news and issues that matter to South Australia. Always Adelaide. This is 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
7 after 7, good morning to you. If you're joining us for the first time on this Thursday, the 5th of February, the headliner is we had something approximating rain earlier this morning across large parts of Adelaide. I say approximating rain because it didn't officially count. It didn't register in the Bureau.
It was a sprinkle.
We have enough anecdotal evidence to, I think, confirm that there was water that did fall from the sky a little bit earlier, including on my windscreen on the way in. But otherwise, you have to wait till mid-late next week for the next a little bit of rain that is this time actually officially forecast. Coming up, Matt Abraham. I forecast that's going to be a lot of fun. Matt Abraham, as we get close to the state election, the One Nation polling, Corey Bernardi, all sorts of stuff is happening on. Matt Abraham will be licking his lips after 7:30, so make sure you tune in to that. And then a little bit later in the morning, we're going to be chatting about the Henry Young documentary. We've been giving away tickets to that all this week. The premiere starts this weekend, so that is not too far ahead.
The man himself is going to be in the studio.
I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be excellent. We spoke just before the break, before the 7 o'clock news, with Steve Salomon, the State Duty Officer of the CFS, with an update on the Deep Creek fire. He gave us the broad brush overview. CFS continue to fight this blaze, the fireground increasing in size. Just remarkable that whilst everyone else has been eating, sleeping, waking up, going to bed, these guys have been out there fighting this fire. And over the course of the coverage of it, you hear things like, there's been some structures lost or some buildings damaged. Well, when you hear the individual stories, those things are much more acute. Ashley and Cassie Edwards had to evacuate their home off Tent Rock Road at Deep Creek. Ashley Edwards stayed to fight the fire until tanks ran dry and then had to make a hasty getaway on his quad bike. Well, unfortunately they lost their property as a part of the fire. And Natasha Hunt, who's this Cassie Edwards' sister, joins us on 5AA Breakfast now. Natasha, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So, Natasha, how are your sister and brother-in-law getting on at the moment?
Look, they're very weary. They've been up for pretty much 3 days straight. I think they're very stressed and just overwhelmed at the moment. We did have the fire come through. The main front came through Tuesday. They were very lucky. Ash had been, and Cass, everyone, plus farm unit CFS had been there fighting the fire. Ash, implemented his fire plan, had been dumping all the water on top of his houses and things like that. But it just got too sketchy and they had to get out. The sheds to the side of the house was on fire. They moved their main belongings into a shipping container thinking that would be more airtight because their home's, an old converted dairy and things like that. But they got a life-saving phone call from the neighbour that was on the ridge on the other side and just said, "Get out now, the fire is ripping through." And my sister said it was crazy how it travelled hundreds of metres just in minutes. And, you know, they had to get out at that point. We had reports from the community that they'd lost their home. They couldn't get in for another 24 hours. We did get an update yesterday. Late last night, they were allowed back into the property to have a look at what's occurred. So they've completely lost all of their sheds, his workshop, his knife-making equipment, most of their valuables. But what's a miracle is the home is actually still standing, even though the sides of it were on fire when they left.
Wow.
Severely smoke damaged and, no water access. All their tanks are melted. So there's going to be so much having to be spent on infrastructure to get it up and running, be able to get back there.
What about the shipping container with all of their possessions in it? Was that okay?
No, it is cooked.
Oh, no.
I'm going to try and get an update on our social media because we've set up a GoFundMe, given that we've had so many people in our community ask how they can support. My sister and her husband are incredible volunteers in our community. They run the Normanville New Year's Eve pageant, the men's shed. They're involved with Lions and Rotary. You know, they would never absolutely ask for help. So the only way I, as a family member, felt I could help them was, get their story out there and support them by running a GoFundMe.
Well, it's very nice of you to do that. And if people who are listening want to make a contribution, how do they go about it?
Well, it would be so incredible to support them because they've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars of infrastructure that we know their insurance isn't going to cover all of it at all. So there's a GoFundMe and it's called Help Cass and Ash Edwards Rebuild from the Deep Creek Fire. It's on the GoFundMe page. So any support, like the community locally has rallied behind them. You know, we're watching some of the donations coming in that are so generous. We know all the names. They're all people from our community. So even, if there's the broader community in South Australia can help support them, we would be so grateful. Yeah,
well, hopefully people can chip in. You said Ash had knife-making equipment. Was he like an artisan sort of craft sort of knife maker?
Yes, he's the most handy guy I've ever met. So he has probably a man's dream man cave did have a man cave out there. With all sorts of equipment. So he had a business called Celery Patch Knives and made, I guess, higher-end hand-carved knives and among a whole heap of other things that he does out there. But that was one of his things that he ran from the farm. So, and it used to be a market garden as well where he would grow organic celery and strawberries and things like that. So
I'm looking now.
They've got a long road to cover.
I've just called the website up, celerypatchfarm.com.au.
Yeah,
they look stunning. Those knives, like this was a Japanese style, chef's knives, amazing carving knives. It looks superb. The stuff that he made.
Yeah, he's pretty incredible.
What, do you know? Did he lose the stock for the knives as well, or are they still for sale?
I imagine that he would have. I'm not sure if he had anything stored in the house.
Yeah.
But. Look, to be honest, they're so overwhelmed at the moment. I think they've hardly taken stock. When they got out to the property finally last night, they're out there putting hotspots again. We had mates coming with their farm units and the CFS again because they've got these huge pine trees that are overhanging the house that have been burnt out. So there's just so much risk on their property. I don't think they're even thinking about, the more material possessions they've lost. I think they're just worried about safety at the moment.
Well, the main thing is that they are safe. So, and hopefully we can get some people behind the GoFundMe. Good on you, Natasha, for setting that up, and thanks for joining us.
14 after 7, we chatted with Sapole just before 7 o'clock this morning, who told us there's a double whammy on the way for Hills commuters this morning. There was a two-car crash at just after 6:20, which resulted in some traffic restrictions. Then a truck breakdown's caused all sorts of problems. We've just got a report live. The traffic is banked up from the Crafers exit on the up track all the way back to the tunnels. No one is moving at the moment. That's 2 days in a row, even for the Hills people. That is cruel and unusual punishment at the moment for our Hills listeners. So if you are planning on driving into the city today. Prepare to be stationary for a long period or maybe make alternate arrangements. We did spend a lot of time this week covering the tragic case of Helen Sargent, who died in a hospital bed in a corridor, having admitted herself to ED with breathing difficulties. She was checked on 1 hour, and then an hour later, someone came back to find her, and she died. Her family, understandably outraged about how you can be left in a hotel corridor when you present with those kind of symptoms with no buzzer to call for help, alone and unattended to. Subsequently, I think the conversation's become really interesting about this, and I wonder if you've picked this up, David. There is a real gap between how our medical authorities have talked about this case and how the average punter is talking about it. Because all the medical people we speak to say, well, no one did anything wrong, right? This is what we have to do. But I think the outrage that they're trying to combat, their argument is misaligned with what people are upset about. People are upset that this is what they have to do, not that they had to do it, not that anyone made some gross error in judgment, but rather that this is what we're at. This is where we're at. This is where the system is, buckling under pressure and requiring people to be put in these places.
Well, the argument seems to be, look, even if you don't have your own bed, better that you're actually in there on the ward than sitting outside on a chair not having been seen by anybody.
Yeah.
But then in the case that we've been talking about, I mean, when the poor woman actually passed away and no one realised for an hour, up to an hour and a half, it's so far from being a desirable situation in the public's eyes and the family's eyes, most of all, that it's not funny.
Daniel Halstead is the chair of the Australasian College for Emergency Medicine. They've put in this is interesting, a wish list for the state election in which they want a ministerial directive to guarantee that no one waits longer than 24 hours in EDs. Another directive they'd like to see, hospital-wide safety mechanism to ensure when EDs become critically overcrowded, compulsory over-census protocols are activated. Daniel, good morning to you. Can you explain a little bit further what you'd like to see change in emergency departments in South Australia?
Yeah, hi. So good morning to both of you. The 24-hour maximum stays that we're talking about is basically, at the moment, people stay in ED sometimes for up to a week at a time. And there's pretty good evidence that once people spend more than 12 hours in the emergency department, their risk of harm goes up. And it goes up exponentially with time. And so what we're asking for is that somebody comes out and says, no, after 24 hours, if you're in the ED, you have to move to a ward. Obviously, if the ED felt like patients needed to stay longer, we'd keep them. But there's really no scenario where a patient needs to be sitting in the ED for 24 hours waiting for a ward bed. And then the other one, which is obviously quite controversial at the moment, is this idea of compulsory over-census when the emergency department gets critically overcrowded. And the idea behind that is, essentially at the moment, what we're facing day in, day out is a scenario where the ED is so full. We've got people in corridors, we've got people bunked up everywhere, and we just can't then see the new people. There's people in the waiting room, there's people on the ramp, there's people in their homes who can't get an ambulance. And so ideally what we'd like to do is spread some of that load around the hospital. We know it's not the ideal situation, and in a perfect world, everybody would get a bed and we wouldn't be talking about this. But it's sort of a makeshift break pressure concept at times of sort of peak demand. And obviously the idea is to do it as safe as possible, to have the stable, least unwell patients are the ones that go into the over-census areas in the hospital while the sick ones go into bed.
Daniel, in terms of bed pressure, I mean, the government is always talking about how many extra beds it's put into the system. But when you're actually on the front line, you know, in the wards and seeing the congestion that's there, does it feel like the beds that have gone in have made much of a difference?
Every day feels like a challenge, and I certainly don't feel the difference on the floor. I think one of the big things that is eating away into that is just the aged care pressure. So although there's been 100 plus beds put into the system in the last year, we've actually got more than 100 patients extra who are now in hospitals waiting for an aged care place. So overall what we're seeing is that these extra beds are just being taken up by patients who actually don't need to be in hospital, but we just can't get them into care facilities because they just don't exist at the moment.
Do you ever worry, some of our listeners are asking, you know, with one eyebrow cocked, are people being put onto wards to get them out of ambulances on the ramps, do you think?
So most of the patients that are getting moved to the wards, well, I mean, they won't move to the ward until they're ready. And most of the patients we're talking about going to these wards have been in the ED for 24 plus hours already. They're not patients that have arrived in the ED 10 minutes ago, 60 minutes ago. These are patients who have completed their emergency care, and we just want to get out so that we can move the next person in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an important issue and a complicated one. Daniel Halstead, from the chair of the Australasian College for Emergency Medicine. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, a lot of texts on this, 04808395. You can call us on 8223 0000. Let's check traffic.
Morning there at Tonsley. Cyclist v car on South Road in the Southern Expressway, seeing delays inbound through there. Crovers West, massive delays outbound due to a two-truck crash early this morning. The freeway uptrack near the Bees Days ramp, got some lanes out of action there too. An Enfielder crash getting sorted, Regency Road near Main North Road. Camera, Frederick Road, Grange. Harris Scarf's Friends Summer Sale is on now. Save 50% off full-price quilts and pillows. Don't miss out. Conditions apply. Harris Scarf, great brands, great prices. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Graham Goodings.
Well, in the tragic wake of a 64-year-old grandmother's death, she died after being left unattended in a Royal Adelaide Hospital corridor. A whistleblower who did not want to be named said somebody somewhere made a wrong decision to admit a patient to a non-designated area. No emergency equipment available.
Graham Goodings.
All of this happening in the new RA, a $2.3 billion purpose-built state-of-the-art hospital.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
G'day, Alan Gray here. Speaking mechanic to mechanic, we all know four-wheel drive safety starts with how well a vehicle handles and stops. Too often we see four-wheel drives setting off on the big family getaway, overloaded and underprepared. It's time to get Terrain Tamer ready with the right stopping power. For safety's sake, Terrain Tamer have loads of upgraded braking solutions, including larger calipers, heavy-duty pads, dual brake boosters, rotors and braided brake lines. To find out more, go to terraintamer.com.
Time to Pixter. Around 70% of serious dental problems start in the gaps between teeth. Pixters clean those gaps like floss, only easier. Keep by your toothbrush and use daily. Have you Pixtered today?
Living on a big block in an older home that's seen better days, or maybe you've just picked up a fixer-upper on a generous slice of land. Well, Metro Homes SA, Adelaide's custom design builder, has a clever solution.
They'll knock down the old place and build two brand new homes on the block. You sell one, move where you want. Keep the other as an investment. It's downsizing and building your future, all in one smart move.
And the best part, Metro takes care of the whole lot. Design, planning, council approvals, the works. And they make it easy because they've done it all before.
So if you're ready to unlock the potential in your property without the stress, go Metro. Visit metrohomesa.com.au.
At Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, they've been raising the bar on servicing. It starts with next day servicing, free loan car, free vacuum and wash, and you can enjoy a free breakfast or lunch thanks to Villies. Your car will be in expert hands with a state-of-the-art service centre and factory-trained technicians who know your vehicle inside and out. At Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, we look after you and your car. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Well, another day, another dilemma for commuters in the hills. A crash early that led to some lane restrictions, compounded by a truck breakdown that has everything back to the tunnels at a standstill at the moment. John is on the freeway as we speak. John, what's the state of play as you can see it?
I went through about 15 minutes ago. Two trucks, so 2 lanes blocked. I think one hit the other. So it's down to 1 lane. It's a bit of a crawl. And, the overhead gantrings don't really tell you the story till you get there. So it all goes down to 1 lane, which is partially unmanaged. So there's a crawl. There was a big dial tow truck there, hooking up the big truck. The other ones out of the way.
You're being let down by the line, sorry, John, but we appreciate your call.
Thank you. We got a good bit of good intel there, though, about the 2 trucks, 2 lanes. You get a sense of why it's such a disaster at the moment. Again, if you can leave late, work remotely, or I mean, there's no alternate route, otherwise this wouldn't be an issue. But if you're stuck in it right now, our thoughts are with you. It's a shocker. There's a Hills story to talk about. In fact, it's bigger than just the Hills, but it's where we'll focus on this morning. The Defence Minister federally yesterday announced plans to sell a whole stack of defence land right around the country. The total sales expected to reap somewhere in the order of $3 billion, but Defence has been at pains to argue that that's not the sum of the benefit from selling this land that they say is unused or underutilised. It's the $100 million a year that is spent as part of sustainment, the upkeep on the land that can be reinvested in defence. So for South Australia, what does that look like? Well, it means plans to sell the 145-hectare Woodside Barracks, Edinburgh Parks, the Hampstead as well. The Warradale Barracks at Oaklands Park wouldn't be entirely sold off. They would divest 3.4 hectares of the 23-hectare Warradale Barracks at Oaklands Park. You might appreciate that our next guest has a bit to say about this. Rebecca Sharkey is the federal member for Mayo. Rebecca Sharkey, good morning to you.
Good morning, Dave and Will. Look, certainly, I mean, I think part of my community would be shocked by this decision. Some probably not so surprised, but I think the majority of my community is very concerned about the decision to sell the Woodside Barracks. Next year it's supposed to have its centenary. Just last year we had the 16th Regiment Air Defence relocated down to Edinburgh. But I think more than anything, and I've surveyed the community extensively, people have said to me, please don't let this be turned into houses. And with 145 hectares, you know, I mean, there would be the potential for the government to do that. And it has, you know, enormous opportunity for other uses if they're not going to keep it for defence, which the majority of the community would have liked to have seen it kept for defence, and many defence people have said to me, look, it's really short-sighted. It's been used as a training ground. It's where World War II, many World War II troops departed from. Part of it was used for refugees back in after World War II, and then of course the married quarters were used as an asylum seeker compound. But it is a very large parcel of land, and much of it is still remnant native vegetation. There's not a lot of that in the hills, so the environmental aspect, the Indigenous aspect. I've been talking with the Paramount people. But I think, you know, and also there's so much recreation facilities that are on there that our community could definitely use. But
you know how this sounds, Rebecca Sharkey, don't you? This sounds like NIMBYism. We've got a housing crisis.
Do you think? Well, yeah, but look, I mean, I think the Adelaide Hills are doing our fair share of lifting when it comes to housing. They rezoned Mount Barker. They've carved that up. There's still, I think it's only around 25% developed. We have further out, we've got Murray Bridge. Nan's had around an 8% growth. But ultimately, you need to keep some land that's free from housing that is looking at the natural environment. And really, from a bushfire risk, that's probably the thing that concerns me the most, and I think many in my community. I mean, many of us still have, very close in our memories, the Cuddly Creek fire. I certainly have been evacuated in fires in our hills, and then Onkaparinga Valley Road becomes a car park. So, potentially if you were to look and carve up 145 hectares, it could easily be over 2,000 blocks. That's thousands more people in an area that's really just been a cluster of small townships. I did think, Rebecca, it was apt that you came on immediately after what is now the second major snafu on the southeastern freeway this week. I mean, we know that the lack of any cogent planning in the hills seems to be the problem. I think it's even more than that. I think it's recognising that we have really one arterial route into the city, and every year on year, whether you're putting more people at Murray Bridge or Mount Barker or indeed other parts of the hills, the pressure on the southeastern freeway grows and grows and grows, and you just need one truck breakdown, you need one small rear end and it brings everything to a stop. And it is a bushfire risk area. The whole area is zoned bushfire, and we've lived through that. And I think that both the state government and the state opposition need to come out and be very clear on what they intend to do with this land. And I would like them to make a commitment that it's not used for housing. I mean, if you go to Belair National Park on the weekend, it is absolutely chockers. It would be fantastic if that land could be used for like a new version of Belair National Park. You know, let's use it for the community. Let the community have this to use. And I think that would be a great tourism draw card for our region.
I think the $35 million price tag being floated might be dazzling the federal government. But look, we'll stay in touch with you on this, Rebecca, because we know that a lot of your constituents are fired up about it too. Rebecca Sharkey, the independent federal member for Mayo.
I tell you what, we'll get into this in a moment. The text line's totally divided on this.
Yeah, it will be.
But very evenly divided between people saying this is ridiculous to even contemplate and others saying, why are we even entertaining keeping these large parcels of land so close to the city unused if at a time like this? So we'll get into all your texts and thoughts in just a moment, but it's rare we get an even split on the text line
these days. The third
thing
a lot of people are talking about is immigration. Why do we need all the extra houses?
Absolutely.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Sunny and 32 today with the 7:30 news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Hands you can trust and state-of-the-art facilities. Physio Extra, tailoring care for you. PhysioExtra.com.
There are more delays on the freeway this morning after a truck crash. A broken down B-double was sideswiped by another passing truck at Cleland, which then collided with the cliff face. Luckily, the drivers weren't seriously hurt. One was taken to hospital for assessment. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says it's affecting outbound traffic.
Now, we've got a tow truck on scene, but it will take some time before those trucks can be removed from the freeway. So the up track of the freeway is down to one lane. So we're asking for everybody to please be patient.
A Mini Cooper has been tracked by ground and air during a lengthy police chase. Patrols tried to stop the car on Commercial Road at Salisbury just after 2:30 this morning, but it sped off. A pursuit followed, reaching speeds of up to 170 k's an hour. The car eventually stopped at Christie's Beach after having its tyres spiked. An 18-year-old male driver and 31-year-old woman were arrested. The driver has been charged with a string of offences and will front court today. The Mini Cooper stolen from Enfield on Tuesday. Well, the FBI is working to determine the legitimacy of a ransom note that has surfaced in the disappearance of US TV host Savannah Guthrie's mother. The 84-year-old has now been missing for 4 days. 7 US correspondent Rob Scott has more.
Several media outlets here in the US have received what they say are unverified ransom notes, reportedly from the kidnappers, demanding millions of dollars in Bitcoin for the safe return of the grandmother. Look, police are looking into those. But as I say, they're unverified, but they say that they have no suspects at this stage.
A Florida man who was convicted of attempting to assassinate Donald Trump has been sentenced to life in prison. Ryan Ruth was found guilty in September of attempting to kill the US president while he was playing golf in West Palm Beach in 2024. He's also received a consecutive 7-year sentence for one of his gun convictions. A new report by the e-safety watchdog has found tech giants are failing to detect and prevent child sexual abuse on their platforms. Sasha Foote has more.
8 companies, including Apple, Discord, Meta and Microsoft, were given legally enforceable notices under Australia's Safety Act in 2024. E-Safety Commissioner Julie Inman grants since engaging with these firms, little progress has been made. The report highlighted key shortfalls in safeguarding certain features like video calling and live streaming. It also found companies had failed to deploy language analysis tools to pick up on commonly used scripts and fake imagery, which eSafety had given to these firms.
Some Crocodile Dundee action in the top end. A crocodile has been captured from a river outside a pub in the Northern Territory. 2 residents in Humpty Doo wasted no time reining in the reptile with a rope and their bare hands. The croc was then moved to a safer location. Now Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new Gliderol garage door before the end of Feb and the operator is free. T's and C's apply.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. We'll start with the Winter Games. Mogul skiers Matt Graham and Jakara Anthony have been named as Australia's flag bearers for the 2026 Winter Olympics opening ceremony. That ceremony gets underway early Saturday morning, our time. To football, a bulked-up Max Michelani says he's relishing the chance to play a bit more midfield time this year. The 21-year-old telling Rowie and Timmy G he's worked hard to build up his muscle mass now that he's into his 4th pre-season.
I was drafted as a very, very skinny young kid. I was only 78 kilos when I got drafted, so I'm up to about 90 now. So, and
wow.
It wasn't something that I've just put on over the most recent pre-season, but it's been, a slow, gradual build.
Meantime, Collingwood forward Dan McStay and captain Darcy Moore remain in a race to be fit for the opening round. McStay has been overcoming a hamstring injury while the skipper has been restricted to light duties with a calf strain. To soccer, Manchester City's in total control of its League Cup semi-final tie against Newcastle. City currently 3-0 up at half-time and now leading 5-0 on aggregate. Arsenal is already through to the final after taking care of Chelsea yesterday. English cricket coach Brendan McCullum has doubled down on the handling of Harry Brooks' nightclub incident, insisting it was dealt with, quote, pretty well. Meantime, India is through to the Under-19 World Cup final. That's after beating Afghanistan by 7 wickets in their semi-final. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning, there are Tonsley. Big delays of the Carvey cyclists this morning. South Road, just get off the Southern Expressway. Also, monster delays this morning from a 2-truck crash earlier this morning. So Crafers West on the freeway. Uptrack some lanes out of action there. Leave early if you must head that way today. Another smash getting cleared at Enfield, Regency Road near Main North Road. Camera this morning, West Beach Road, West Beach. Anytime Fitness presents the Day Zero sale on Wednesday, 11th Feb only. Join for $0 plus get 4 weeks free. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Make your next cruise a breeze with RAA Travel. Search RAA Cruise and book your next trip today.
32 today, mostly sunny. Sunny tomorrow, 33. Cloud clearing and 35 on Saturday. Back to 33 on Sunday. Right now, it's 18 degrees on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Fluorio Milk Company will always put SA first. And you can too. When you reach for milk, reach for Fluorio Milk Company products and support our dairy farmers and their families. We guarantee that all our milk is 100% South Australian and it's always fresh. We have over 24 refrigerated trucks shipping Fluorio milk to cafes, restaurants and supermarkets all over SA. Look for the local in your supermarket. Fluorio Milk Company. We're for SA dairy farmers.
You can rent a little, you can rent a lot.
From Cairns to Canberra, Perth to Port Macquarie, you can rely on Red Spot to provide the perfect ride for your next holiday. We're the only Aussie family-owned and operated car rental company in airport terminals and cities all over Australia with a new fleet and 100% local Aussie service. And right now, Red Spot is giving you spot-on savings of 15% off every vehicle at every location. Book direct and save at redspot.com.au/radio. T's and C's apply.
What makes Ray White the big name in business broking? They're people, like multi-time SA Business Broker of the Year, Brett Buckley, and his team of business professionals. They take a deep dive into your business, finding value and potential, and they know what they're looking for because they know businesses. They're not real estate salespeople trying to sell businesses, they're business people selling businesses. If you want to know what your business is worth, touch base with Brett. Search Ray White Business Sales SA. Multiple Business Broker of the Year awards.
World Travel Fest by Phil Hoffman Travel is on this Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Adelaide Convention Centre.
Hosted by Adelaide, World Travel Fest brings together more than 60 of your favourite cruise lines, airlines and travel providers all under one roof.
Whether your next journey is a spectacular cruise, a luxury getaway, a solo adventure or a fun-filled family holiday, World Travel Fest is your gateway to discovering your next unforgettable adventure. Plus, you can go in the draw to win one of 4 incredible travel prizes, including a 15-day European river cruise with APT, a 13-day Sri Lanka tour with inspiring vacations and more.
Entries free. World Travel Fest this Sunday, February 8, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Adelaide Convention Centre. Register today at pht.com.au.
Go Harvey Norman LG Trade and Save. On now. Shop our huge range of LG fridges, washing machines,
machines and dishwashers, plus trade in and save up to $300. Immerse yourself in the action with a new LG TV. Select from screen sizes up to 83 inches. Plus trade in and save up to $300. That's right, trade in and save up to $300 on selected LG home appliances and entertainment. Best brands, best range, best prices. There's more in store at Harvey Norman. LG trade and save on now. Conditions apply.
Summer's here. Time to get your new Woolco pool blanket. Made from quality materials, a Woolco pool blanket will keep your pool clean, warm and reduce evaporation. Uncover the savings now. Visit woolco.com.au.
City Discount Tires. Get saving now with City Discount Tires. We're offering great deals on the world's top brands in tyres, wheels, suspension and parts. Suitable for four-wheel drives, SUVs and passenger cars, including Falcon, Michelin, Pirelli, Kumho, Hankook and many more. Finance options available. Search citydiscounttires.com.au and locate your nearest dealer today. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires. David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
20 to 8, monitoring the traffic situation on the freeway this morning, where a two-car crash followed by what our listeners are telling us was two trucks that broke down. It's causing all sorts of issues. John in Eastwood, are you stuck in it at the moment, John, or have you just been through?
I just got through. The tow truckers, or the prime mover tow truckers, just shifted the outside lane. So there's two lanes now. The trucks are on the inside lane, but directly opposite that, on the outbound lane, two-car prank.
It's all happening, John.
What? There's been a new crash.
The circus on the freeway keeps going.
So hang on, just to do some rough accounting here, we had a crash just after 6 a.m, followed by a truck breakdown, followed by now another crash. That's it's unbelievable. John, thank you. My goodness. We're getting texts from poor old people living in the hills just saying, why did I do this to myself? I tell you what, they're making a compelling argument. A lot of people are saying, can we get a train?
Yeah.
Or some public transport or something? Maybe Rebecca Sharkey might want to trade her support for housing development for some public transport.
Well, she's got the whip hand, absolutely.
She certainly does.
I was, I'm bugging.
This is Democracy Manifest.
They're eating the dogs. I tell you what, any boss who sacks anyone for not turning up today is a bum.
Matt's.
Feels like the whole political environment in Australia is spinning around on its axis at the moment. Who knows where it's going to end up? The first test is going to be the state election. Matt watches it closer than anyone. Matt Abraham, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, David. I am trying to get out of my head an image that was planted there by you, David Penberthy, when you're interviewing Ted O'Brien, who's part of the Susan, national team federally, the coalition, ex-coalition.
He's an ally of Susan Lee's.
Yeah. And you asked him to apologise to Ashton Hearn for the chaos and causing her. And you said that Peter Malinauskas could run down Rundle Mall with a lampshade on his head and still win. And ever since then, I've had this image of Peter Malinauskas running down Rundle Mall with a lampshade on his head. And I thought, I wonder what would happen if he did. Nothing.
Would his vote go up?
Oh, he'd probably get the vote, attract votes from the lampshade making sort of artisans of Adelaide.
Right.
No, we are in
I thought Ted O'Brien actually handled that quite well.
Well, he's very mild-mannered, isn't he, really? Yeah. And you kept asking him questions about the coalition split for some reason instead of policy.
But they're the ones that keep talking about it.
Of course.
He made totally valid points about Jim Chalmers' economic management, interest rates and all of that. But the problem is that all of yesterday, yet again, for the Liberals and the Nationals, was taken up by talking about each other.
Exactly.
And John, no less a man than John Howard's dropped a bomb on them overnight saying, for God's sake, people, sort this out.
Yeah.
You've actually, when you think about it, if you zoom out and think about it, you've got to try really hard to have your worst ever polling result in an environment where the government has mishandled the worst terror attack in the nation's history, followed by interest rate rises. They're going to make people's cost of living worsen. Like, you got to be spectacularly bad at your job to go, in that environment, we're going to poll our worst ever.
Yeah, totally.
And you've got a situation where the leader of One Nation, Pauline Hanson, in terms of leader favourability. This is the Redbridge poll, which is, published in the Financial Review. She's on 38% favourability as a leader. Anthony Albanese's on 34. Barnaby Joyce is on 23. Susan Lee, 10 as a leader. Andrew Hastie, 60. Angus Taylor, 13. David, who cares about him? And Donald Trump, 16. This is an amazing situation. And the One Nation vote, the primary vote is, Labor's is 34. One Nation is 26. And then there's sort of daylight to, what was left of the coalition. And the big shift is, as Phil Curry told you guys a couple of days ago, it used to be people like him, he said, grumpy old buggers who were voting for One Nation, but now it's across the board. Like in terms of, they haven't voted yet, obviously, but in terms of being polled, the One Nation support, people are giving them a tick, is right across the board. It's millennials, it's Gen Z, it's boomers.
But the split in a party political sense, though, is that more of them are people who say they have been Liberal voters than Labor voters.
Yeah. There's still quite a swag of Labor voters there, but it's a huge problem here for Ashton Hearn in South Australia, I think. I mean, Corey Bernardi standing as number one candidate, and it's been interesting to watch the sort of the thimble and pea trick of candidates being shifted around. Chris McDermott, he was in love with Nord, but suddenly the upper house is looking pretty darn good, really, running under Sarah Game, ex-One Nation banner. But if that One Nation vote, which is sitting so high, 26%, if that's in any way, even if you knock 10% off it, that's going to get Corey. He's going to stroll into the upper house with a full quota, which is only 8.33.
Even our man Carlos Caremba will stroll.
Exactly. He could
which is why he's probably so relaxed about doing a solid for Corey and saying, all right, I'll shuffle a spot down the ticket. Yeah. We'll be right anyway.
Smart guy. They could get two. Let's not, get ahead of ourselves. The election's, still a month away.
And that's only federal voting intention.
I know, but you'd have to say that in those big seats where we saw the voice vote here in South Australia, the big regional seats, where the no vote was strongest of anywhere in the nation, then there's got to be some bleed into South Australia. Like we don't have sort of this magic barrier up there.
Totally.
The One Nation vote at the last state election was enough to get Sarah Game up, and she didn't even get 8.33. You don't need to get a full quota. You just need to be sort of hanging in there for the crumbs for a lot of these parties.
Don't you reckon that there's people who misread South Australia because of our arty heritage, our history of pioneering reforms, female suffrage, al fresco dining, land rights legislation, first nude beach down at Maslin's. There's all the sort of Don Dunstan-esque things that if you're sitting outside Dylan's bookshop on the parade having a cafe latte, that feels like your reality. There's a completely different Adelaide, and it exists in places like Spence, the federal seat of Spence, which voted, I think, 72% no, off the top of my head, to the voice to Parliament. And this is where I think the One Nation stuff, the people who, luckily for all of them, have got huge margins, needing to build all these bloody houses anyway. That's where for Labor, I mean, it's probably going to manifest itself in someone who's on 15% ending up on maybe 13%. But that they can't ignore it either, can they?
Well, they can't. And if you look at allegedly what should be the safest Liberal seats here, seats like Finnis, well, David Basham, independent Lou Nicholson pushed him to just about, what did he get? Finnis, he's on 0.7. That's his margin.
And she's running again.
And she's running again. You've got Flinders, Sam Telfer. That's another, what should be a safe seat, but it's on 3%. And that's because he had Liz Haberman ran against him at last election. And in this election, Port Lincoln businesswoman Megan Petherick is running against him. You throw in that.
And Mount Gambier, they're not going to get. There's
no one in Mount Gambier.
They're not going to get it back. The Liberals are on 12% in Mount Gambier, according to that forestry body poll.
12. I mean,
Troy Bell's bloke's on 27.
If he was allowed to, Troy Bell could probably, win it from Yatala. I mean,
Feel like Paulie and Goodfellas, just sitting in the cell running Mount Gambier.
The electorate office.
With the garlic to liquefy the pan. Just liquefy the pan.
It is interesting. If, for instance, the Liberal votes down, I'm just thinking about the upper house here because we know the lower house is going to be, a car crash. But let's say Peter Malinauskas has to negotiate with Cory Bernardi for 8 years in the upper house. If the Lib votes down, Labor may get an extra seat up there, but One Nation may sort of steal that from them. So Claire Scriven's career may be over. She was dropped down the batting order. It'd be very interesting to me to see maybe on social issues but also economic issues how that plays out. And even if they don't have the balance of power, they will have a platform. This would give Cory Bernardi a big springboard in terms of having a platform, as an elected politician. For 8 years. It's a long time. It's not a bad gig, actually. Do you
feel, Matt, like... I know you're a Port supporter, so I don't want to mention...
You don't have to say it like that.
I don't want to mention the 2007 grand final. I was thinking about this last night in the context of footy. Sometimes a game can get so spectacularly one-sided. Because if it's a 50-point lead and you go, this is all over, and you're not even involved, you just turn off. But a game can get so spectacularly one-sided that it becomes perversely compelling and you can't take your eyes off it. Do you feel...
How much can they lose by?
Yes. That's what it feels like to me. The only real question around this election is how much can the Liberals lose by?
Yeah.
Is that unfair?
No, it's not unfair. It's a question you have to ask. And, the combination of the Malinauskas factor anyway, and then you feed in One Nation and you've got some good high-profile independents running, and you've got, Labor Party ad. I was on Facebook last night, flicking around looking for my mighty grab of the week, and they've got this devastating ad on Facebook with Nick McBride, images of him going into his electorate office or in a meeting with an ankle bracelet on, Troy Bell in jail. Then they've got David Spears, and they've got that image of someone who purports to be David Spears snorting something that is either whiz fizz or some white powder.
I think we can now say that it's him.
It's a devastating ad. Now, I haven't seen it on telly yet, but...
No, it was on telly.
It was on telly, okay. I was watching Midsummer Murders, probably it might have upset the equilibrium there, but it's a devastating ad. And you could say, well, none of it's Ashton Hearn's fault. Well, none of it is Ashton Hearn's fault. No. But we are seeing, Ashton Hearn is, very much a product of the Pine moderates. Stephen Marshall admitted after he'd lost the election or actually shortly before he lost the election, that really he should have had more balance in his cabinet. He froze out Conservatives. There are some chickens. None of this, you can't say, oh, well, this has just happened to the Liberal Party. No one's really to blame. Well, really, in a very small way in South Australia, you've had a reflection of what's happening federally in terms of policy and the moderates versus the Conservatives. It is a big issue for them. Both of all three of us have had conversations, I know, off air and on air, I would think, with Peter Malinauskas about, well, you're going to romp this in. And he hates that. Okay.
Hates it.
He hates it.
He would hate this conversation now.
Yes. And he said to me at one stage, the EU sending troops, Denmark sending troops into Greenland, in terms of what a volatile environment we're in. And I was thinking of that when I saw this One Nation poll come up and Cory Bernardi in terms of the volatility. I think this is going to be a wild election.
Yeah.
This state election. in South Australia.
6 minutes to 8. Let's check traffic.
Morning there, seeing monster delays this morning due to that 2-truck crash from earlier this morning. It's at Crayfus West, the freeway uptrack to the These Days ramp. Delays back a couple of Ks. Leave early if you must head that way. Also delays at Tonsley with the cyclist v car South Road near the Southern Expressway, and a crash getting sorted at Enfield Regency Road near Main North Road. Camera, Petherton Road, Davram Park. The Winter Olympics are here and our Aussies are going for gold. Watch every moment only on 9 Now and Stan Sport. Catch all the action from 6 February. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Time to Pixter. Around 70% of serious dental problems start in the gaps between teeth. Pixters clean those gaps like floss, only easier. Keep by your toothbrush and use daily. Have you Pixtered today?
Hi, I'm Steve Wormald from Walco Liners and Covers out at Paraka. We're a manufacturing business. We'd never done radio. Contacted 5AA and were teed up with James Wellham. After I touched base with James, we had a meeting. We also got hooked up with Creative from 5AA. I had a strategy on timing of the ads. I didn't have really any clue on the content of the ad. So Creative, and I was trusting. I don't know anything about content, and I just said, go for your life. Do whatever you want. And I think you've got to do that. When you come to AA, Creative, let them do their job, which is exactly what we did. We just went, go for it.
To get your message out there and grow your business, visit 5AA.com.au and hit the Advertise With Us link for more information.
5AA is celebrating what makes Adelaide truly special. Local businesses across our city, north, south, east and west.
G'day, Timmy G here. 5AA support and celebrate local. How good's that? South Australia's own. Well, we got one of the best here. This is Sports Card World's Matt. G'day, Matt.
G'day, Timmy. How are you?
I'm very well, my friend. Now, how long has Sports Card World been around?
We've been in business for almost 32 years now, so started in 1994, so a long time.
Now, what do you stock?
So we have a large range of sports cards, so AFL cards, NBA, NFL, soccer, but we also sell a lot of the gaming cards, so Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering, One Piece, they're all very popular as well.
You're in Region Arcade. What's the advantage of having that shop front?
I just think that people can come in and browse through our stock and see what they're buying before they buy, rather than online where you just like sort of click and buy. We can also give a lot of advice, so especially for parents that maybe have got lots of questions.
New releases, what's happening? It's a new year. What are we going to see?
Yeah, we got a big month coming up. There's new Pokemon cards coming out. There's new NBA releases. We've got lots of new soccer releases for this year, obviously being a World Cup year. AFL and NRL cards are probably only a month away. So, yeah, lots of new releases, lots of things happening.
One of the other great events that happens at Sports Card World is Trade Day. We got one coming up?
Yeah, this Sunday the 8th, we've got Trade Day. Should be a really big day again. We've got Darcy Fogarty from the Crows coming in. Then we've got Port's Mitch Georgiadis. And we've also got 36ers legend Brett Maher. He's going to be there for the 2 hours.
There you have it. Another great local business to celebrate. Sports Card World, together with 5AA.
5AA, supporting local, celebrating SA.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Matt Abraham with us in the 5AA Breakfast Studios. We'll turn our mind to the spin of the week.
Yes, I'm really concentrating today to get the order correct. So this is now the Labor Party has been running a sort of a tally of Liberal Party spending promises, and apparently it's outrageous. This is the fact that they've racked up, huge record debt, but that's been...
How's your hydrogen plan going?
Exactly. And I noticed Tom Koutsantonis is talking about the Whaler plant and saying, oh, well, if there's problems, it's the Fed's problem. Like, okay. But anyway, a journalist got to Ben Hood, who's the shadow treasurer, and they asked him, is there any chance you've lost track of spending? This is his answer.
Tom, no. Because of the wonderful things he does.
Sorry. Yes, he was on the yellow brick road. Because I think maybe that's not a bad answer.
Because.
Why? Because. 6-7. Doesn't matter. Ben Hood gets a very hefty 9 out of 10 just because.
Matt.
Meanwhile, I don't want to be picky, but have a listen to this and I'll explain why. This is Susan Lee.
But the Nationals have chosen to leave the coalition at this point. The door is open. I've maintained that the door stays open. But I am not focused on the door. I am focused straight ahead out here into the Australian communities that we love, respect and are determined to work hard every single day for.
But wait a minute. If you're going to go straight ahead, aren't you going to bang into the door? Yeah. Doesn't somebody have to open the door to the Australian community?
Not focused on the door.
Oh, no.
Who's going to just charge through the door?
Oh, I don't know. She's got to do something. 1 out of 10 for spin for Susan Lee.
Matt.
Well, look out for that door, Matt.
I will.
Yes, don't bang you out of the way out.
The news and information that matters. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Sunny and 32 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Injured or living with chronic pain? Book an appointment at Physio Extra today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
2 people have been arrested after a chase across Adelaide this morning. A stolen Mini Cooper was spotted on Commercial Road at Salisbury around 2:30. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says it was followed through the western and southern suburbs.
The vehicle was successfully spiked on South Road at Edwardstown, but it continued onto the expressway where it will allege that it reached speeds of 170 kilometres an hour. It eventually came to a stop on Whitton Road at Christie's Beach where the driver and passenger ran, but they were caught quickly hiding in some nearby gardens.
The driver, an 18-year-old man from Elizabeth Vale and a 31-year-old woman from Ottaway are facing charges. The Mini Cooper was stolen from Enfield earlier this week. There are delays for outbound traffic on the freeway after a truck crashed this morning. A truck sideswiped a broken down B-double at Cleland and then collided with the cliff face just after 3 a.m. Neither driver was seriously hurt, but the trucks need to be towed from the scene. Well, the federal government is dodging repeated questions about potential changes to the capital gains tax discount. It's understood Labor is considering reining in the measure as part of a suite of budget measures. The discount halves the tax that is paid on profit from an investment, mainly property. Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles refusing to be drawn on the specific issue.
Our position in respect of housing policy is clear and that hasn't changed, and nor has our position in respect of the tax arrangements around housing. We've got to have more houses in this country, and that is a real challenge. We're working on that. We're doing that in the face of the opposition of the coalition, such as they exist now.
Brisbane 2032 organisers will build a National Australia House in Los Angeles during the 2028 Games. Stephanie Felicina has the details.
With just over 6 years to the Brisbane Olympic and Paralympic Games, organisers say they're hoping to make their mark at an upcoming Olympics. A bricks and mortar base highlighting Australian culture will take centre stage at the LA 28 Games, with a house being built in a well-known location. It's set to be the first of its kind since Sydney 2000 Games and aims to showcase Australia's nature, wildlife histories and love of sport.
The second round of peace talks between the United States, Ukraine and Russia are underway in Abu Dhabi. It's hoped the 2-day meeting will help to resolve the remaining issues of the US-brokered peace plan to end the war. They are yet to agree on territory and the fate of Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which currently sits on Russian-occupied land. The King and Princess of Wales have released messages to mark World Cancer Day.
Cancer touches so many lives, not only patients, but the families and friends and caregivers who walk beside them. As anyone who's experienced this journey will know, it's not linear. There are moments of fear and exhaustion, but also moments of strength, kindness and profound connection.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new Gliderol garage door before the end of Feb and the operator is free. T's and C's apply.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Freestyle skiers Jakara Anthony and Matt Graham will lead the Aussie team when they march into the opening ceremony at the Winter Olympics. Anthony says she's lost for words.
Just to have made my third Winter Olympic team, especially amongst our current cohort, from our debutants right through to our veterans. Such a strong team, and to be chosen to lead the team into the opening ceremony just makes it even that bit more special.
Well, Well, the Adelaide 36ers will be in action tonight when they take on the Hawks in Illawarra. The Sixers need to win to hold on to top spot. Meantime, 10-time NBA All-Star Anthony Davis is set to be traded from the Dallas Mavericks to the Washington Wizards as part of an 8-player swap. The Aussie Diamonds will take on Jamaica here in Adelaide tonight as they begin a 3-match netball series. Thunderbirds Matilda Garrett and Georgie Horges are both in the side, while fellow T-Bird Latanya Wilson will line up for Jamaica. To cricket, South Australia will take on New South Wales as it restarts its Sheffield Shield title defence. SA currently sits in third spot, but is only 2 points off second with 4 games to play. Alex Carey and Brendan Doggett return to the 12-man squad after being a part of the Ashes squad. Meantime, India has defeated South Africa by 30 runs in their warm-up match for the T20 World Cup. Namibia held on for a 6-run win against Scotland. To golf, Aussie Elvis Smiley has made a hot start in his first live event since joining the tour. He finished at 6 under after his opening round in Riyadh and is only 1 shot behind joint leaders Thomas Dietrich and Peter Uhlhein. The second live event for the year will be played here in Adelaide at Grange next week. And it's well into the second half of the League Cup semi-final clash between Manchester City and Newcastle. City in cruise control, leading 3-1 and 5-1 overall on aggregate. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
G'day there. Monster delays this morning at Crayford West due to a 2-truck crash from earlier this morning. She's on the freeway uptracking these days. Ramp delays are a couple of Ks long. Lanes out of action. Just avoid that if you can this morning. Tonsley, more delays with the cyclist v car South Road near the Southern Expressway and a breakdown at Waterloo Corner, North-South Motorway near Waterloo Corner Road. Camera, Kesters Road, Para Hills West. Fiji Airways sale is on now with return flights from Adelaide to Fiji starting from $659. Book now at FijiAirways.com or your travel agent. Conditions apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now checking 5AA weather.
Plan your next cruise with an RAA travel agent. Search RAA Cruise and book your next trip today.
A top of 32 and mostly sunny for your Thursday. Sunny tomorrow, 33. Cloud clearing, 35 on Saturday. Sunday, partly cloudy, 33. Right now, it's 19 degrees on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
A smashed or damaged windscreen can happen in a heartbeat, but it does get worse if you don't go to your local Complete Windscreens to get it fixed. You could be waiting weeks, and look, that's not on. Complete Windscreens has windscreens and glass for all makes and models in stock right now with 15 technicians standing by to get you back on the road. You don't need to wait. Tell your insurance company you want Complete Windscreens on the job. CompleteWindscreens.com.au. Look for the big red koala.
You can rent a little, you can rent a lot.
Business too small to be noticed by those global car rental companies? Well, you can rely on Red Spot to look after you. We love renting to small businesses because we used to be one. We're the only Aussie family-owned car rental company in airport terminals and cities across Australia. And right now, Red Spot is giving you spot-on savings of 15% off every vehicle at every location. Book direct and save at redspot.com.au/radio. T's and C's apply.
Red Spot.
Discover Canada and Alaska with Travel Marvel and Phil Hoffman Travel. Travel from Calgary to Vancouver over 18 unforgettable nights with 11 nights in premium accommodation and a guaranteed ocean view stateroom on board your 7-night Holland America Line Alaskan cruise. Plus, enjoy a special farewell dinner at the Butchart Gardens. Travel in 2027 from $9,295 per person, twin share. Phil Hoffman Travel. Visit pht.com.au.
Setting the agenda for South Australia. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Then I saw her face.
5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Hey, but it's after 8, breaking 8 coming up in just a moment. Just to repeat the tale of the tape for Hills commuters who yesterday had to wade through a disastrous situation to get into the city. Now, at this time today, we can report there has been a 2-car crash, a 2-truck breakdown, followed by another crash on the freeway. We continue to get pictures from listeners and texts from those that are stuck in traffic. And it's lovely to have them on board listening, but frankly, they'd rather probably be at work or getting about their day, and they can't get there. So it got us thinking, the Hills morning commute, I think, is an unassailable record holder as the worst morning commute in Adelaide.
The problem too is that people have got no choice. It doesn't matter which part of the hills. You've basically got one way in, one way out.
So what's second? What's the second worst commute in Adelaide?
Ooh.
8223000. Hills is obviously number one. All right, you folks have won. This is like the Don Bradman batting average of bad commutes.
Have to be North East Road, wouldn't it? Main North Road.
Let's open it up to our listeners. What's the worst commute in Adelaide outside of the hills? 8223000 or text us your suggestions. We'll assess them. And you two listeners, you're all part of the judgment panel. 0448 08 1395 as well. The second worst commute in Adelaide. What is it?
Well, the state government is accused of double standards over new laws, which on the face of it make perfect sense. They sound like they're really good for subcontractors working in the building industry, where the government wants to crack down on the non-payment of subcontractors. Well, that is a good thing, and I reckon every subby listening to this would say about time too. The only problem is the state government itself is going to be exempt from these rules, meaning that any subcontractor who's doing work in building and construction on any state government projects and finds themselves in the not entirely rare position of not being paid for their work won't have the same recourse that they will if they were doing the work in the private sector. It's an issue that came to my attention on account of some really interesting evidence that was given before a Legislative Council committee hearing last year. It's being championed as an issue now by SA Best MLC Connie Benares, and also the person who really teased it out as an inconsistency is a smart bloke by the name of John Murray, who is the Chief Adjudicator for South Australia and also a former National CEO of the Master Builders Association. We have both of them on the line now, and we'll kick off with Connie. Connie, thank you for joining us, and also to John for joining us this morning. In your evidence, Connie, you said if the laws go ahead as envisaged, we'll be the only state in Australia, the only jurisdiction in Australia that has this arrangement.
Yeah, good morning. Well, it's typical of the way this government does business, and sadly, they've already kicked off. They've kicked off because this legislation, and you've described it very well in terms of its intent, the framework is designed to ensure that contractors and subcontractors get paid on time for the work that they do. Last year, this government exempted itself in certain circumstances from the scope of that framework. So that means that if you're a contractor or a subcontractor and you're doing work for the Crown, for the government, we know that there is a ton of work at the moment being done on government projects, then you will not be able to take advantage of security of payment legislation, which has actually been in place since 2009. It was a mammoth effort to get this legislation through in South Australia.
So it's actually law now, is it?
It's law, and what we've done, Dave, it's a little bit worse than what we've just described. These laws came into effect in 2009. They covered everybody, including the government. Last year, when we had those hearings, I found out that the government had very quietly, without consulting with anybody, exempted itself from the scope of that framework via regulations. Now, that should have everyone up in arms, because these aren't changes you make by regulations. These are substantive changes that impact contractors and subcontractors. Worse still, they applied these changes retrospectively. So that means if you're already in those contracts, in those contractual arrangements, you now may find yourself not being able to make a claim for a payment that you're entitled to, and use that, that fast-tracking mechanism that is available under this process to ensure that you can pay the bills, you can pay your staff, you can keep your doors open, all those things that the little guys rely on.
Yeah, sure.
And can I say, the one and only justification that was given during those hearings from government representatives who we finally managed to get to appear before the committee, before we could get any answers, aside from the fact that they had not even consulted with industry, they said, well, if you're doing a project that's worth $4 million, then you're from the big end of town. Now, you go out and find me one contractor or subcontractor who will agree that a $4 million contract means that you're from the big end of town. These are mum and dad businesses.
Yeah, absolutely.
In Lane.
Yeah,
these are the guys that are going to be hit the hardest.
Yeah. I'll bring John Murray into the conversation as well. John, thank you for joining us. In your evidence, and obviously you've got many decades' experience in the building industry, with the NBA and also as SA's chief adjudicator. You described this as astonishing. Have you ever seen this done anywhere in Australia or overseas?
No, it's completely unprecedented. I don't know of any state government, any government that has exempted itself from its own legislation. It just smacks of rank hypocrisy. It basically says, do what we say in our legislation, but the legislation won't apply to us. This isn't a government providing leadership or playing its role towards having a more prosperous and fair industry. It amounts to nothing more than government abusing its market power. And if I could say one more thing, the government didn't even bother complying with its own better regulation handbook, its own guidelines, which provide that if you are going to pass a regulation, then you must go before you even do that you must undertake a regulatory impact assessment to see whether it has any impact. And if it has a significant impact, then you need to do a risk impact statement.
What do you think? What do you think the government's motivation was for creating this exemption for itself?
Well, they said when they gave evidence on the day that I was there, they said, well, firstly they said we always pay our bills. Well, you've got to wonder about that, but it begs the question, well, what if someone puts in a claim but it's rejected? Then the whole thing about security and payment legislation is that you can go through a process of rapid adjudication and have that heard quickly so that issue can be resolved and that payment can be made and enforced so as to keep the cash flowing. So I don't know whether they... I really don't know why they did that, but they then went on and said, look, sometimes when we go through adjudications, we take the risk that we might not have a favourable outcome. Well, hello.
Yeah.
There are many people who are disgruntled and there are different ways of handling that issue. But you don't go about exempting yourself from your own legislation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And look, I'm glad we got this out in the public arena, because if there are any subcontractors listening who found themselves in this position, we'd love to hear from you. It's a complicated issue, but it's one we wanted to raise because it has the potential to affect a lot of subcontractors, particularly with all the building going on. Connie Benares, SA Best MLC, and Chief Adjudicator John Murray, thank you for joining us this morning.
We think the Hills have made an unassailable case to be home of Adelaide's worst commute, given the last 2 days of absolute traffic standstill on the freeway. But we're trying to get to the bottom of what's the second worst commute in Adelaide. Raymond in Salisbury has a suggestion. Morning, Raymond.
Good morning, boys. How are we all?
Good, thank you, Raymond.
Good to hear. Hey, South Road, without a doubt, man.
Yeah.
So the section between, where the tunnel's going to be, so the section between the Brickworks and Darlington, but in particular, at all stages of the day, the area between the Anzac Highway underpass and Tonsley, it's bumper to bumper any part of the day, but obviously, peak times are at its worst. But yeah, no, it's horrible. The sooner that tunnel gets done and it's open, the better for everyone.
Yeah, it's with us for a couple more years yet, unfortunately. Good on you, Raymond. Lots of suggestions coming through. Con says the Britannia roundabout around 8:30am. Corey says the Southern Expressway on the way home most nights. Just as you get to South Road, there's almost always a crash on the bridge over the Onkaparinga River. And after a long day, you just want to be home.
Yeah, that is just, you get a great run on the Southern Expressway and then you hit the river and you're like, oh.
Here we go. Worst commute from eastern suburbs for 3 weeks a year when the race is on. And it's a tough life, says an anonymous texter. I like this one from Catherine. Has to be Cross Road. I'd like to know if anyone has gone through the South Road intersection without waiting for a train. My record is 3 trains. I've had the 3 trains there before. You go, is something broken? No, it's just how it works. That's a good suggestion.
I like the freight train on Leader Street some mornings where you're just trying to get down to Hungry Jack's or something to get yourself a bacon deluxe for a quick lunch, and you see the ominous caboose going, oh no, I'm going to be here for an hour.
Lots of South Road suggestions. Ben says anything that touches South Road is the second worst commute. Pete says Eastern suburbs, anytime the V8s are in town, is the second worst commute. Keep them coming through. We'll get to the bottom of this. It's South Road or Eastern suburbs during the V8s. It seems to be the two leading contenders at the moment.
We've got one of your fellow Grange listeners.
Oh,
I reckon I know what he's going to say. I reckon it's going to start with the letter H.
Morning, Vinny.
You read my mind, my son. Yes, Holbrooks Road and Grange Road. We're going to work. It is murder.
Yeah.
Absolute murder. Are they ever going to complete in that intersection, ever?
I do that trip 4 times a day. And
well, you know what you mean, Will. You know what I mean.
It's a disaster. It's so bad at the moment. And you try. There's no good backstreet option. It's just bad. Vinny, I hear your pain, my friend. That is a shocker. Mark in Anglevale, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Anything coming off the Northern Expressway?
Yeah.
Slip Road, Curtis Road, Anglevale Road, Dalkeith Road. It's ridiculous.
Yep. Good vote for the North. Good on you, Mark. Thank you. Keep them coming in. We might collate these. By 9 o'clock, we'll get an answer to what is the second worst commute in Adelaide at the moment, in solidarity with our poor Hills listeners who are currently standing on the freeway without moving. 20 minutes after 8, let's check traffic.
Morning there. Got multiple collisions at Crayfus West on the freeway up track, causing huge delays this morning. They're back a couple of Ks. Avoid that if you can this morning. Tonsley, cyclist v car, South Road near the Southern Expressway. Big delays there too. And Waterloo Corner breakdown getting sorted the North-South motorway near Waterloo Corner Road. Camera, Ashwin Parade, Torrensville. Book now at mycar.com.au to get $100 off your next logbook service plus 12 months free roadside assistance. T's and C's apply. My Car, Tar and Auto, people first. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show. Rowie and Timmy G.
Bradbury is going to come through and win gold.
Stephen Bradbury, you bloody champion. Was that the strategy?
That was the plan, 100%, to go out there in the final and stay out of the way. Let's just hope for a mistake and we pick up a bronze medal.
Adelaide's only local sports show.
Didn't get bronze.
You didn't.
The 5AA Sports Show.
Weekday afternoons from 4.
On 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Is it the best Beechwood home ever made? Possibly, but there's always more to come from Beechwood. Introducing the Caliente, now open for viewing. The Caliente is a multi-level masterpiece of design, innovation and style. Taking inspiration from Palm Springs and California, it's definitely a conversation starter. The team at Beechwood can't wait for you to see it at 10 Simon Crescent, Craigburn Farm. Open Saturdays and Sundays, 1 to 4:30 p.m. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
Whatever your morning looks like, own it with Up and Go Liquid Breakfast. Braving the bus or carving a wave, battling rush hour or feeling the rush of your favourite trail. Fueled with the protein, fibre and vitamins you need to get up and go.
Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes are definitely in the spirit of giving. With the Mitsubishi Outlander ES, drive away for just $39,990. Plus it comes with a 10-year warranty and 10-year cap price servicing. Agostino Mitsubishi, famous for great service, great trade-ins and great range. And if they say they're going to do something, they'll do it. Get into Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes for Mitsubishi Outlander ES. Drive away from just $39,990.
Harvey Norman clearance outlets at Marion and Jepps Cross are bursting at the seams. Discontinued, run out and brand new furniture and bedding from across Australia. Prices are slashed for you to get a bargain. Clearance outlets at Marion Road Marion and Jepps Cross Homemaker. Tell them Jerry sent you. Furniture and bedding at Marion and Jepps Cross. Harvey Norman clearance outlets.
Time to Pixter. Around 70% of serious dental problems start in the gaps between teeth. Pixters clean those gaps like floss, only easier. Keep by your toothbrush and use daily. Have you Pixtered today?
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Real deja vu day today. Yesterday we were speaking about breakdowns on the freeway that meant that the Hills commute was a disaster, and for something different, power being out on the Peninsula again. Happens, we worked out on average once more than once every 2 weeks at the moment. It's a ludicrous situation. And speaking to people who work over on the Peninsula, the obvious question was, well, given the predictability of power outages, should you get some compo? Here's Joe Barrett and us speaking to Joe yesterday.
Do you get any compo? Like, if you miss out on a morning's worth of sales, do you get any compensation? Can you claim it through insurance or anything?
No, nothing at all. No,
It's just
nothing
terrible.
at all. Yeah, it's awful. And so, and as I said, that's our morning trade is coffees, donuts, that sort of thing. So, yeah, we've lost all that trade.
Fraser Ellis is the member for Narunga and joins us now on 5AA Breakfast. Fraser, this is unacceptable, isn't it?
Particularly the longer it goes, mate. You know, it's happening more and more frequently. Almost 12 months ago, we had an outage of over 20 hours that sort of should have rang alarm bells and triggered change, but here we are 1 year on and it's still happening. It's quite unbelievable.
When we were talking to Joe, Fraser, it just felt like there was almost an air of resignation in her voice. And I do struggle with the idea that, and we got an explanation from SA Power Networks where they were saying unless it's negligence, they don't cough up. It's a fine line between negligence and not having proper up-to-date infrastructure in place because you happen to be in regional South Australia, I reckon.
Yeah, and how long does it have to be since they got their warning that this is happening before they fix it finally, before they are negligent, I guess is the next question. But the other point I'd like to make on that topic is that in the last term of government, or this term of government I should say, they changed it so that a voltage variation will be enough to trigger compensation with or without fault. So if there's a surge that runs through your house that fries your fridge, you'll be eligible to get that compensated. You'll be eligible for compensation to replace that. But if there's an extended outage that means you lose trade or stock perishes, you won't be compensated for that. So on the one hand, you are, and when the end result is no different or the same, you aren't on the other. It just doesn't quite make sense to me.
It's quite remarkable looking at the map as we were yesterday. Like, it just seems like Yorks is just copping it everywhere.
Yeah, and like I said, at what point does the fact that we're aware that this is a consistent problem and nothing has happened to fix it finally, does that fall into the negligent category? So,
Yeah.
And what do you make of the timeline that the SA Power Networks told us about yesterday, Fraser, where they said that the fixing of the infrastructure or the upgrading of the infrastructure is a years, not months timeline?
Well, in my view, without being a technical expert on the topic, it should be a never-ending cycle of slowly replacing these as years go by. I mean, that's part of the cost of what our power bills is an allowance for maintenance and upgrade of the network. So I don't necessarily accept that we've got to replace them all at once now, all of a sudden. Like, it should be a consistent, systematic scheme of replacement as time progresses. So,
yeah.
And the other point worth making is that they shut, and we appreciate this, I'm not complaining. They shut our power down 2 or 3 weeks ago for a planned outage to give it a proper clean, and here we are 2 weeks later, and there was a sort of 6-hour outage yesterday morning. So if they can shut it down 2 weeks ago and clean it, and it only lasts for a fortnight, we certainly need something to change.
Totally. Fraser Ellis, the member for Narunga, running again too at the election. Fraser, yeah?
Yeah, that's the plan. We'll see if I get picked or not. But
you got One Nation. You got One Nation breathing down your neck over there on Yorks.
Oh, the candidate's having a decent crack. It's that's democracy. It's good to have a decent choice between candidates, and we'll see.
And have the Libs got a candidate?
Yeah, the Libs have got a candidate, but that's the extent of it at the moment, the three of us. So I'm sure there'll be a few more to come out of the woodwork.
Labor's sitting this one out.
I don't know about finally sitting it out, but they certainly haven't announced anyone yet. So,
no worries.
On a hiding to nothing as a Labor candidate in Narunga, right, despite the Premier's popularity.
They're campaigning with Murray Watt. Yeah. Thank you, Fraser. Fraser Ellis, the member for Narunga.
Get saving now with City Discount Tyres. We're offering great deals on the world's top brands in tyres, wheels, suspension and parts. Suitable for four-wheel drives, SUVs and passenger cars, including Falcon, Michelin, Pirelli, Kumho, Hankook and many more. Finance options available. Search citydiscounttyres.com.au and locate your nearest dealer today. City Discount Tyres. We're driven by value.
School's back.
At Coles, we'll help you get back to routine with free click and collect. Simply spend $50 or more and we'll do the shopping for you. Shop online or in the app at Coles. Excludes rapid click and collect, direct to boot, available in select stores.
The Diary of a CEO keeps going where other conversations stop and keeps asking the hard questions worth answering. Keep good company with the Diary of a CEO podcast.
There are many reasons why Steinborner Automotive is well worth a trip, with over 400 cars in stock across 10 yards in Gawler, Barossa and Clare, including Steinborner Mitsubishi and Uriutpa, with a great selection of the best value new, demo and low-kilometre Triton, Pajero Sport, ASX and Outlander. Along with outstanding service from our award-winning staff, you know it's well worth a trip to Steinborner Mitsubishi. View our whole range of Mitsubishi at steinborner.com.au.
Healthy soil is the key to a thriving garden. Good soil needs a mix of organic matter, nutrients and biology, all of which you will find in Chock-a-Block, a new super compost from Nutrog. Chock-a-Block is a unique blend of nutrition, microbes and humates with absolutely no green waste, meaning it's consistent all year round. Chock-a-Block, easy to remember as it's literally chock-a-block full of goodness. Look out for the green and gold bale in your local hardware or garden centre.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Sunny and 32 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Hands you can trust and state-of-the-art facilities. Physio Extra, tailoring care for you. PhysioExtra.com.
A stolen Mini Cooper hit speeds of up to 170 k's an hour on the Southern Expressway this morning. The car was first spotted at Salisbury around 2:30 and followed across the western and southern suburbs before its tyres were spiked at Edwardstown. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says it eventually came to a stop on Whitten Road at Christie's Beach, where the driver and passenger were found hiding in nearby gardens.
They're an 18-year-old man and a 31-year-old woman. The driver, the man, has been charged with illegal use, dangerous driving and extreme speed, and he's going to find himself in court today. And the passenger, she's going to find herself in court in March.
For the second morning in a row, there are delays on the freeway. A B-double stopped on the side of the road at Cleland early this morning and was sideswiped by a passing truck. That rig then hit the cliff face. The driver sustained minor injuries. There's also been a car crash on the down track. Almost 2 years on from the mass stabbing at Westfield Bondi Junction, the inquest findings will be handed down today. The inquiry investigated whether anything could have changed the outcome of the attack when Joel Cauchi murdered 6 people and stabbed 10 others. Australia's online safety watchdog has found some major tech firms are failing to stop child sexual exploitation from taking place on their platforms. The eSafety Commissioner is urging the companies to develop new technology to detect live-streamed online abuse. An email from Ghislaine Maxwell released with more of the Epstein files appears to confirm the infamous photo of former Prince Andrew and Australian-based sex accuser Virginia Giuffre is real. The former Duke of York has previously denied ever meeting Giuffre, who claimed she was trafficked to the Royal as a teenager. Meantime, Bill Gates has spoken to Australian media after new allegations of sexual misconduct emerged from the Epstein files. The Microsoft founder appeared in a number of images with the late sex offender, with his name also referenced in emails regarding sex trafficking operations. Mr. Gates has told Nine associating with Epstein and his network of high-profile individuals was a mistake.
You know, in retrospect, that was a dead end, and I've said many times, but I'll say again, I was foolish to spend time with him. I was one of many people who regret ever knowing him.
In Arizona, the hunt for US TV host Savannah Guthrie's missing mother continues. Police are investigating whether a trespasser in the area several weeks ago is in any way linked to the abduction. County Sheriff Chris Nanos is confident the 84-year-old is still alive.
We have nothing else to go on but the belief that she is here. She's present, she's alive, and we want to save her.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new Gliderol garage door before the end of Feb and the operator is free. T's and C's apply.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Adelaide defender Max Michelani says the group is motivated to atone for its straight sets finals exit from last year. Michelani telling Rowie and Timmy G motivation at Westlakes is high amongst the group to again play on the big stage.
It's definitely given
I guess the group as a whole, a real hunger to come out this year and really perform. And if we do get the chance in finals, we really make it count.
Meantime, Giants midfielder Tom Green says he can't wait to run out with ex-Demon Clayton Oliver. The 28-year-old moved to GWS during the trade period, and Green says Oliver will bring another dimension.
He's not very far removed from some incredible football, and his resume really speaks for itself. He's been fantastic to work with in the midfield, and I think he's going to add another, really important dimension for us. So I can't wait to run out there alongside him, and he hasn't really put a foot wrong.
On the opening day of competition at the Winter Olympics, wins for Sweden, Great Britain, Canada and Switzerland in the mixed doubles curling. Manchester City's through to the League Cup final after a 3-1 win against Newcastle in their semi this morning. City will now take on Arsenal in the final, which will be played next month. And Live Golf star John Rahm claims it's unfair that official Golf World Rankings points will only be awarded to the top 10 finishers at each tournament. Rahm has shot a 5-under round of 67 in his first round for the season at a tournament in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. That puts him in a tie for fourth, while Elvis Smiley is the best of the Aussies in outright third. He finished at 6-under. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there. Worst delays I've seen on the freeway for ages. Delays are kilometres long due to multiple collisions on the freeway. They're around the Crowfoot West area in the Mees Days ramp. Got lanes blocked. Avoid that at all costs if you can today. Tonsley, Harvey, Cyclist South Road near the Southern Expressway getting cleared. Big delays there too. And a breakdown getting sorted at Waterloo Corner, North-South motorway near Waterloo Corner Road. Camera, Brooker Terrace, Richmond. Anytime Fitness presents the Day Zero sale on Wednesday, 11th Feb only. Join for $0 plus get 4 weeks free. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA weather.
Make your next cruise a breeze with RAA Travel. Search RAA Cruise and book your next trip today.
Mostly sunny, 32 today, sunny and 33 tomorrow, up to 35 on Saturday, back to 33 and partly cloudy on Sunday. Right now it's 20 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
A year of roadside assistance is now included with eligible NRMA car insurance policies in South Australia, whether you're a new customer or an existing customer renewing your policy, because that's what a help company would do. Renew your eligible policy or get a quote today at nrma.com.au/SA roadside. SA risk addresses only. Excludes CTP and classic car insurance. Offer may be withdrawn at any time. Always read the PDS. PDS and TNDs available from NRMA Insurance. 12 months of everyday care roadside assistance provided by National Roads and Motorists Association Limited. Trading as NRMA. Separate and independent from NRMA Insurance.
It's all the little things that make the Murray Princess such an unforgettable experience. The breathtaking sunset, delicious food, wonderful wine, and conversations with new friends. Step aboard the Murray Princess and drift past majestic cliffs and river wildlife. Explore more with unique excursions that immerse you in the magic of the Murray. It's these little things that will create big memories. Book your 3, 4 or 7-night river cruise today at murrayprincess.com.au.
When it comes to reducing pain and rebuilding strength, Kaiser leaves nothing to chance. Our university-qualified health professionals don't just treat problem areas. They design personalised training programs using Swiss-engineered machines unique to Kaiser. These machines safely isolate the affected area, test your strength, and help rebuild your muscles for a stronger, more active and healthier life. Kaiser, building strength with precision in Norwood and Glenelg.
5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
$23 minutes to 9, our number 8223 You can text us too on 0480 08 1395. Been looking forward to this chat all day, David. It is the most anticipated documentary film event of the year. No, it's not Melania.
No, it's not Melania.
It's bigger than Melania.
It's bigger than Melania.
Smaller budget, mind you.
Smaller budget, better film.
Better content.
Better content. Much better content, much better movie. The movie, of course, is Forever Young, and it's the story about our great friend Henry Young, produced by and directed by another one of our great friends, legendary ad man and creative Jeffrey Reed, both of whom are in the studio with us today. Jeffrey and Henry, good morning, and thank you so much for coming into the studio.
Good morning, David. It's a great pleasure.
So, Henry, I was just saying to you, the last time you were here in the 5AA studios we had streamers, we had balloons because it was your 100th birthday.
2 years ago.
I know. You look like you're in very good health still.
So far, so good, David.
So how often are you playing tennis these days?
4 times a week. Yes, 4 times a week. It's incredible. I can't believe it myself, but it's. I like my tennis, and there's no reason. I'm retired, so what else do I do? So
keep you off the streets.
You made a self-deprecating joke off air that you can't believe they found enough content for the documentary to run for 40 minutes. Going through the whole process, did you enjoy being part of the process of making this documentary about your life?
Yes, I did. There was a time when people opened doors for you, and it always used to embarrass me, but now I just put my head up and sail through, and I do say thank you. It doesn't worry me anymore. It's you've got to not be old, but you've got to be very old. And I qualify.
So it's almost, 4 years since the Clash of the Centurions came about, Jeffrey?
Yeah. 4 years this year. It was
4 years.
2023. Sorry, 3 years.
So it's just after
Australian
the war
Open
started?
2023.
Just after the war started between Russia and Ukraine. What's the last few years been like for you, Henry? Because no one knew who you were. We didn't know your name this time 4 years ago. Since then, you've played on centre court at the Australian Open. You met your friend from Ukraine. That's right. You've been on multiple TV programs. You were on the front bar with Fitzy. Do you sort of pinch yourself that all of this fame, because it is fame, has come so late in your life?
Well, there are compensations for all this. In other words, I've got all these young friends, and when you're old, it's wonderful to have young friends because they don't treat me as being old. They just treat me as I don't know, as Henry, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. It keeps you in the stream. So I don't feel old. No, I don't feel old. No, I'm good. Tell everyone I'm in the good paddock.
Having played tennis against you, and the score was 6-4 your way when we played doubles, not only do you not feel old, you don't look old on a tennis court.
Well, I must admit there are times now when I feel my age, but it's my breathlessness, and I'm working on it. I watch YouTube, and they're full of things that you could be and should be doing to keep around, and I try all those.
Mm. Jeffrey, when you sat down to make the documentary and you're putting it together, what were you particularly taken by? What was the story that you really, in a narrative sense, wanted to tell about Henry?
I think it was when we did the Clash of the Centurions at the Australian Open. That was sort of the bedrock for the documentary. And making docos is not like writing and making a feature film. You're actually reverse engineering the film. And I'd actually started just out of interest, filming some interviews just with a few mates with Henry in 2021, because his life stories, David, you know this, the yarns he tells and the life he's led are just so interesting. And I didn't have an idea for a film. I just thought we need to record this and, someday what will happen. So it's taken a while to come together. But, there's been so much content and Henry's life and his celebrity now. He's very much in demand on the media circuit.
Yeah.
He is a bit of a rock star wherever he goes. But in the film, you'll see the befores. You'll see all of the story leading up to the battle, the Clash of the Centurions with Stanislavski. I mean, he was the oldest competitive tennis player in the world at that time. And so when we found out that Henry was 6 months older, we challenged him to a tennis match. And, it took a year and a half to put it together. But 2023, the Australian Open, Henry Young and Leo Stanislavski walked out onto centre court.
It's just such a great story. That must have felt like a 1 in a million shot that was going to come off, especially with what was going on around the world.
Honestly, I mean, it all started from...
Almost didn't a couple of times.
Well, I was just angry about the Russian invasion. It touched me deeply. And this was a way of us kind of putting our mark on it, and Henry and I saying, well, we can do something about this. And the clash is, a fun thing, a fun story for two 98-year-olds they were at the time to, come together with their love of tennis and actually raise money for the war effort for Ukrainian war victims. And we're still doing that with this film as well.
Mm. You knew when that story ran, the first time it ran in The Australian, I don't know if you ever saw the comments from the readers, Henry, but people were saying, I love this story, I can't get enough of it, and it's just such a feel-good story that you didn't want to knock Leonard off his perch, because you are rightly the oldest tennis player in the world. The Guinness Book of Records had it wrong when they listed him. But the good humour and the good grace you showed in just wanting to meet him, to help Ukraine, it was... people loved that story, and it must have made you feel good too.
Well, it did. I don't think it's generally known that the professional players have this Players for Peace. It's a charity that they've initiated themselves, and so I was just part of it, and it raised how much did it make?
Well, after it started with the US Open in 2022, and that's when the Russians invaded that year. So in the January for the Australian Open 2023, after that it was $4.5 million US raised for that charity, Tennis Place for Peace. And that's the global charity, as Henry's saying, professional tennis and the 4 slams. So it's a fantastic effort. So we pardon me, we can't get the exact numbers, but we think the Australian Open charity concert.
So if I can come in then, it was a great pleasure for me to be part of it, because it is such a worthwhile charity, and to be able to do my little bit was wonderful.
Well, Henry, you've led and continue to lead an amazing life. I know a lot of our listeners are going to get along on Sunday. To you, Jeffrey, well done with the film. We watched it together, mate, just before Christmas, and it's a lot of fun. I look forward to seeing you both on Sunday. And what we will do now is we'll wrap it up by giving one of our listeners a chance to win another double pass to get along to the Capri this Sunday afternoon.
You can give us a call now on 822 300 00. But the other thing is there are tickets available, aren't there? So you go to Humanitix or search for Forever Young Humanitix, and that'll get you there.
Spot on, Will.
Yep. Thank you. There are tickets available if you want to get along and see this remarkable documentary event. Henry, great to have you in. Jeffrey, thank you.
Thanks, Will.
Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you on Sunday.
Terrific. Look forward to it.
Bye-bye.
Let's check traffic.
Still got awful delays this morning with multiple collisions on the freeway. Crafers West delays are outbound a couple of Ks near the Measdays ramp. Avoid if you can this morning. Tonsley, Harvey Cyclist getting sorted out. South Road near the Southern Expressway. Still got a few delays there, and we are busy at the moment. Main North Road at Enfield. Camera, Midway Road, Elizabeth Park. Shop Healthy Care's new L-theanine range to support stress and relaxation from 1619 to Chemist Warehouse. Find more Healthy Care products at Chemist Warehouse. Silence February 11. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hey, ChatGPT.
Hey there, Lisa. So tell me honestly, how are you really going?
ChatGPT, you're so considerate.
Thank you. I'm always here to help and chat. Just let me know what's on your mind.
Quite a bit.
I'm sorry to hear that. If you want to share what's been going on, I'm here to listen.
Where do I begin? Well, it's my relationship.
Getting more emotional support from ChatGPT than your partner? Book a free 15-minute call with Resolve Divorce today.
The latest Star Discount Chemist catalogue is packed with red-hot summer specials. You'll find Hydrolite Effervescent Electrolyte tablets, 20 tablets in assorted flavours, just $11.99 for relief from dehydration symptoms. Always read the label and follow directions for use. Star Discount Chemist. How can we help?
When it comes to dining out, if you're after a place that does it all, head for 150A King William Road, Hyde Park.
By day, it's the ever-popular Hello Neighbour, open 7 days for brunch and lunch, warm, relaxed and instantly welcoming, great coffee, generous plates and a menu of proper brunch favourites.
And then as the sun goes down Wednesday to Saturday, the same venue transforms into Artusi by Night, an intimate Italian dinner experience.
Artusi's Gnoccheria and Pasta Bar offers fresh gnocchi, handmade daily from 6 p.m. right in front of you, rich sauces, steak and fish mains, and they cater for gluten-free, celiac and vegans.
So whether it's brunch with friends or a dinner date, you'll find it all at one address. Hello Neighbour by day, Artusi by night for dinner. 150A King William Road, Hyde Park.
The most frustrating thing about having your car repaired after a collision can be the wait. Sometimes months. At Premier Panel Services, the wait is one thing you won't have to worry about. We've expanded our workshop and our highly skilled team. It means we're better equipped to deliver an outstanding outcome for you and your car. RAA and MTA approved, Premier Panel Services work with most insurance companies. So ask for Premier Panel Services and get back on the road sooner.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
11 to 9, there's been an incident at Christie's Beach this morning with a couple of arrests made. Peter Caldecott was at the scene. We'll cross to him in just a moment. First, though, David at Ridgehaven's called in. David, we're cheering for you, mate. We want you to get along and see the Forever Young documentary this weekend.
Love to. Yep.
All right, mate. Here you go. There's only one question. Fingers crossed. Okay, here we go. When Henry played against Leonard at the Australian Open at the Rod Laver Arena, which court did he play on? Which court?
Gosh, what was it? What's it called now? Do you want the actual, the centre court, or you want the name?
Yeah, mate, you said it. You've already said it. That's it. Centre court.
I was going to say centre court. Sorry.
Nothing but the best. Nothing but the best for Henry Young. Centre court or nothing, he said when he rocked up.
Congratulations to you, David. You're getting along this weekend. And anyone else who wants to get along, you can still do so. There are some tickets available. If you search Forever Young and head to Humanitix, you'll get those tickets. Good on you, David. You will certainly be there. Peter Caldecott is at Christie's Beach this morning. PC, what's happened with these arrests?
I'm down at Christie's Beach at the moment, just off Pete's Beach Road down the bottom on Watton Street. Now, this couple that police have chased overnight about 3 o'clock in the morning, all the way from Salisbury through the northern suburbs, all the way down South Road, they spiked their tyres of this Mini Cooper S near Dawes Road on South Road, and amazingly, they kept going. They went onto the expressway and were doing like 170 kilometres an hour on the Southern Expressway. Went all the way down here, got off on Beach Road, and if you came down here, you could see a long scratch mark going up the street, and it goes all the way the length of the street and then goes into someone's driveway, where neighbours say they heard yelling and screaming. The police pulled in behind them. A couple got out, they were yelling and screaming, ran off down the road, where police pounced on them and arrested them. So it's there's been a lot of activity down here, and good on police for actually arresting the couple who are now facing multiple charges. But we talked to one lady who said that everyone woke up and she just heard yelling and screaming, police pouncing on these two suspects outside her house.
And Peter, they weren't. They're not Christie's Beach people. This couple, are they? They're from out north, weren't they?
Yeah, Elizabeth and Ottaway, I believe, a man and a woman.
Yeah,
and,
right.
Just amazing they could go that distance. And how dangerous is that to be going 170 on the Southern Expressway with on three tyres, and to keep going all the way to Christie's Beach and to finally stop and run off.
Yeah, pair of half-wits. Good on your PC. Thank you, Peter Caldecott at Christie's for 7 News Adelaide. A lot of really nice messages coming through about our chat just now with Jeffrey and Henry Young. Mark in Brompton says, that's one of the best good news stories going around. What a wonderful gentleman. And to quote Henry, it's good to have young friends. They don't treat me as old. They treat me as Henry. Great story. And Liz, with a warning for us, Will, says, watch out, boys. Henry's got a good radio voice. It could be his next vocation.
Well, absolutely. I wouldn't put any ceiling on what Henry Young can achieve.
And being 102 years old, he's
coming into the demo.
He's in the right sort of sweet spot for 5AA broadcasters.
That's exactly right. A little bit earlier, we were taking nominations for the second worst commute in Adelaide. We think number one spot is done and dusted, with the Hills again today suffering 3 separate incidents that have been a gridlock for a large part of the morning peak hour. A crash just after 6 o'clock this morning with 2 cars, a 2-truck breakdown, and then as that was just being cleared, one of our listeners on the hills alerted us to the fact another crash had taken place. It's been a disaster. But lots and lots of nominations for the second worst commute. Some of them have been live, David. Some have been live accounts. For example, Heather texts us saying obviously the Harndorf is a nomination. Helen says, when I first came to Adelaide from Victoria, we went out to Salisbury and then never did it again. Thank you for that, Helen. But mainly, I think the two that we didn't really break the deadlock on were the kind of open-ended anywhere on South Road and eastern suburbs into the city during the V8s. They seem to be the top two nominees for the second worst commute.
I reckon the real South Road vortex is often with the gardening. I'm frequently going to the dump there in Theberton, just next to the old West Theberton Hotel, which is sadly going because of the Torrens to Torrens upgrade. But if you turn left near the brickworks, so heading down the road near the dump, so you turn left at where the West Theberton Hotel was, head down South Road towards Henley Beach Road, that is like the Bermuda Triangle. Yeah. You can just sit there forever. And it doesn't matter what time of day it is. It's a complete and utter pain in the you-know-what.
It certainly is. All right, let's have a look at the fuel situation this morning. The Fuel Watch, thanks to our great friends at the RAA, where petrol, we've got to say, and not much has been made of this year, it's quite cheap historically. It's been consistently under $1.50. We had prices that sort of knocked around this point, but we had a halving of the fuel excise, you might recall. This is not artificial. This is the genuine article. So the cheap spots this morning, Leroy's at Munno Para is at $1.45.9. That is the cheapest, and that is as cheap as I can remember it for quite some time. The Yugo West Hindmarsh, $1.47.9. The BP Ex-Convenience at Brooklyn Park is at $1.51.5. And diesel remains consistently under $1.60. It is at $1.59.5.
Hey, city residents, particularly city residents who live in the southwestern corner of town in and around Whitmore Square, might want to be paying extra close attention to the show tomorrow. We have a story that is going to be of interest to you. And if anyone who does live in that area and listens to our show has, or even works in that area, has any concerns about some of the sort of lawlessness that has been going on in that part of the city over the past few months and wants to get involved in the conversation, we would love to.
It's been a hotspot previously.
Well, what about the Simon Smart, the judge? You got attacked by the bloke.
Yep.
Totally out of the blue. Got attacked at Ville Gardens with a pole, broad daylight. In a very charitable act, the judge said he's not going to press charges against the bloke. Remains to be seen whether the police still go ahead because they have the discretion to do that. But some of the stories we've heard would make your hair stand on end.
I remember, not that it was as serious as that, but I had a family member that was walking through there a number of years ago and some drunken halfwit jumped on their back.
Yeah. There's a lot of concern about the needle exchange program as well, and some of the drug-addled people that residents say is acting like a bit of a magnet for people who've got in some cases massive issues. Spare a thought though for the people of Unley Park. Greg says Victoria Avenue would have to be one of the worst roads. It's so hard to get your car in and out of those double gates during peak hour traffic. You'd always get your driver to do it for you, I guess. Move the Bentley. I can't get to the roller.
Yeah, it can be really one of the real inconveniences of living in the most exclusive street in Adelaide.
It makes it hard to get to Sturt games.
Oh, well, I mean, gee whiz. Oh, the humanity.
Right.
Tomorrow, that'll be tomorrow morning. We'll talk more about Whitmore Square, Meat Tray Friday, Feedback Friday as well. Always have a lot of fun on Fridays. We'd love you to be part of it. And what we would love to is to have a morning where we don't have to talk about the fact that there is issues on the freeway. Hey, and a little bit of housekeeping as well. There is rain in one official gauge in Adelaide this morning at Plimpton Park, I believe. 0.1 mils officially. So whilst none in the West Terrace gauge, which means we are still on for our consecutive streak of rainless days, the history books will say, yes, you weren't imagining it, there was a little smattering of rain this morning.
February 18 is the day to break the record.
February 18.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm cheering for us not to get this record.
No, same. Me too.
Can it please rain sometime soon? All right, that's all from us. Stick around. Graham Goodings is coming up after 9 o'clock. and we'll catch you tomorrow morning from 6.